Chapter 71. Former Fiancé, 2, Lung Ruashue. The principal wants to see you. Elder Chio, who was standing at the door, immediately stepped forward when he saw them come out. I'm sorry. Please tell the principal that this young lady isn't free. Lung Ruashue said without giving any face. Elder Chio looked at everyone walking away and sighed helplessly. This girl really isn't the ordinary kind of crazy. She even dares to slight the principal. Miss, where are we going? Fengde couldn't help asking. Hunting? Where else can we go? Really? He thought his young lady was joking. Miss, I want to eat fire rhinoceros meat. The poor fire rhinoceroses were about to be unlucky again. Alas, everyone couldn't help mourning for 3 seconds in their hearts for the fire rhinoceroses. The territory of the fire rhinoceros king. Why are you here? The fire rhinoceros king asked fearfully. Why did this demon come so quickly? Does she want me to identify the person? Fire rhinoceros king, I just want to eat some fire rhino meat. Why are you being so skittish? People might think I've done something to you. Lung Ruashue couldn't help teasing. After hearing what she said, everyone was at a loss for words. Miss, your words are too suggestive. Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua looked at the fire rhinoceros king with their mouths agape. They couldn't believe that this was the fiery-tempered fire rhinoceros king. Why did it look so frail? It didn't have any presence at all. It had to be known that fire rhinoceroses were very barbaric spirit beasts. How could they know that the fire rhinoceros king's body was so weak because it had been having diarrhea for days? Moreover, in the fire rhinoceros king's eyes, Lung Ruashue and Yi Chen were 2 demons that it couldn't offend. Fire rhinoceros king, you have to perform well and strive to achieve meritorious service as soon as possible. Fengde gently patted the head of the fire rhinoceros king while his other hand was still rotating the fire rhinoceros meat currently grilling above the fire. Feng Aoran looked sympathetically at the fire rhinoceros king, which was so scared that it didn't even dare to fart. He couldn't help but grumble in his heart. Say, can you not be so arrogant? Not only are you grilling fire rhinoceros meat to eat in front of the fire rhinoceros king, but you're even lecturing it like it's a child. However, such an experience is really very rare. Stinky fire rhinoceros, I bet you didn't expect to have a day like this. Suddenly, an arrogant voice sounded from the distance. Everyone's gazes turned toward the fire rhinoceros king in unison. It's my archenemy, the fire rhinoceros king said softly, but it was overjoyed in its heart. Humph, that fellow is going to be in big trouble this time. It must have heard somewhere that I'm unwell recently, so it came to loot a burning house. As soon as the fire rhinoceros king finished speaking, a group of snakes slowly slithered over from the distance. Leading them was a water python, a level 4 holy beast, and it had all sorts of snakes as subordinates. Lung Ruashue looked at the water python with some amusement. From what she knew, pythons like to live alone. She didn't expect this water python to have so many subordinates. It seemed that it was an anomaly among pythons. Moreover, it had a lot of subordinates, numbering in the thousands, and most of them were advanced spirit beasts. Oh, not bad. It should be enough to eat for a while. Everyone, apart from Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua, who were nervously holding their weapons and vigilantly watching the approaching group of snakes, was thinking that something delicious had come knocking on their doors again. Miss, which one should we eat first? Fengde was drooling slightly. Snake spirit beasts were famous for their deliciousness. Schwer, let's eat that one with red stripes first. I heard that the brighter they are, the more poisonous they are, and the more delicious they will taste. And that one is fat enough, Yi Chen suggested. But I want to try the holy beast first, Lung Ruashue said awkwardly. She had never eaten a water python before. Then let's eat the holy beast first. Yi Chen echoed. Okay, let's eat the holy beast first, everyone echoed. Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua were speechless. Do you have to be so gluttonous? Snake-type spirit beasts aren't easy to deal with. Huh, there are actually humans? Great. I haven't eaten humans for a long time. The approaching water python said happily when it saw so many humans. I've never eaten a water python before either. Big stupid snake. Why don't we see who eats first? Lung Ruashue said with a light smile. What? You want to eat me? Human, how dare you? You will pay the price for saying that. The water python roared angrily. There was a faint black liquid flowing on its blue skin, indicating that it was angry. Calm down. You're not a fire python. Why are you so hot-tempered? Lung Ruashua tried to calm it down. Fire spirit beasts were notorious for their bad tempers. I'm angry. The consequences are serious. The water python roared. Why do spirit beasts like to say this nowadays? Lung Ruashua was a little speechless. They'll leave it to you. Lung Ruashua motioned for Fongda and the others to start. Miss, just wait for the grilled snake meat. Fongda smiled. He was the first to rush into the group of snakes and directly went to the holy beast water python. Lin Yuan followed closely behind as everyone joined the battle. Upon seeing this, Feng Aoran and Xiao Huan naturally didn't want to fall behind and started killing the snakes one by one. In just a few minutes, a third of the snakes had died. Fire Rhinoceros King. You owe me a big favor. Lung Ruashua said lightly to the Fire Rhinoceros King while watching them fight the water python. There was a price to pay for using her. Why, yes. Seeing that its intentions had been exposed, the Fire Rhinoceros King's heart trembled. What a demon. Then tell me, how do you plan to pay for this? Lung Ruashua asked softly. Swear, it really doesn't have anything good other than fire rhinoceros fruits, Yichen reminded her. Some spirit beasts were born with the gift of planting fruits, and fire rhinoceroses were such spirit beasts. Fire rhinoceros fruits might not be as good as Schwer's spirit fruits, but they were still pretty good. I have crystal honey, the Fire Rhinoceros King stammered. How can a fire rhino like you have crystal honey? Lung Ruashua was a little curious. The crystal bee queen needed the pollen from our fire rhinoceros fruits, so she exchanged for some with crystal honey, the Fire Rhinoceros King explained. Chapter 72. Robbing the Fire Rhinoceros King. I didn't expect spirit beasts to engage in trade, Lung Ruashua thought. How much do you have then? A lot. We fire rhinoceroses aren't interested in honey, the Fire Rhinoceros King said. But it also knew that the honey was something good, so it kept it. Then give me all your crystal honey as my reward for helping you, Lung Ruashua said bluntly. Spirit beasts that need to be robbed had to be robbed properly. Why, yes. We'll go with it to get the honey. Watch over here, Lung Ruashua said to Yichun, and even specially left Charm and Darling behind. Okay, be careful on the way. Lung Ruashua followed the somewhat shaky Fire Rhinoceros King to a cave. After entering the cave, she saw that the entire cave was planted with trees half the size of a human. The trees were full of fist-sized fiery red fruits, and the fruits contained spiritual energy. They were definitely good things in the eyes of ordinary people, but she wasn't interested in these fruits. It's all here. The Fire Rhinoceros King pointed at the bottles piled in the corner. Lung Ruashua looked at the bottles casually piled up in the corner by the Fire Rhinoceros King and couldn't help being a little surprised. She didn't expect there to be so many. She casually picked up a bottle that should be made of beeswax and opened it to see that it could hold approximately 5 kilograms of honey. She counted that there were about 30 similar bottles in the corner. Isn't this more than 150 kilograms? Lung Ruashua unceremoniously stored all the bottles into her ring. Since the fire rhinoceroses didn't like honey anyway, of course she couldn't give this advantage to others. By the time she returned with the Fire Rhinoceros King, the battle was almost over. Some people were cleaning up the battlefield, while others were cleaning the snake meat. You worked quickly, Lung Ruashua praised. They really satisfied her more and more. Schwer, how was it? Yichen asked. Seems like she had a good harvest. Not bad, about 150 kilograms. That much? Yichun was slightly surprised. Miss, 150 kilograms of what? Lin Yuan, who was making a fire at the side, asked curiously. Crystal honey. We're rich. We're rich. Lin Yuan shouted with a silly smile after being stunned for a moment. Miss, here is some holy beast meat. Fongda handed Lung Ruashua a piece of cleaned meat. Thank you. Lung Ruashua took the meat and began grilling it. What are you standing there for? Go and do your work. Fongda nudged Lin Yuan. Oh, wow, this water python meat is even better than the earth python meat. Yeah, It's really delicious. Everyone couldn't help but exclaim in admiration as they ate the water python meat. When everyone was satisfied with eating the grilled meat, it was almost night. They simply packed up and started walking back. "Miss, aren't we going to fly back?" Chuizhu couldn't help asking curiously when she saw that her young miss didn't intend to ride the flying spirit beast. "Flying right after eating? Do you want to become a pig?" Lung Ruoxue gently knocked Chuizhu on the head. "See, you were scolded." Lu Tao looked at Chuizhu with some amusement. "Master, there's a sound over there." Charm, who was lying on Long Ruoxue's shoulder, reminded her. "Where?" "Let's go take a look," Long Ruoxue said. "It was a good time to exercise after eating." "Go to the right." Everyone curiously walked in the direction Charm had pointed out. Before they approached, they saw an ugly spirit beast that was as tall as a hill. "Master, it's an earth lizard," Charm said. This earth lizard was not as high level as the one he had fought, but it was at least level 8. "Beloved master, earth lizards are the most annoying. Not only are they ugly, but they also don't like cleanliness. But they are very strong, and ordinary spirit beasts aren't their match," Darling said with a look of disdain. Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes observed the situation in front of her. The enormous earth lizard was riddled with wounds, and its opponent was a beautiful cloud-patterned white tiger. This white tiger was a level 7 holy beast, a lower level than the earth lizard. The injuries on its body were also more serious than those of the earth lizard, and it was obvious that it was hanging on by a thread. Blood had long stained its beautiful white fur. There was a cave behind them, and miserable groans were constantly coming from it. Lung Ruoxue guessed that the reason this tiger could last until now was probably to protect its loved ones in the cave. "Darling, go help that tiger. Charm and I will take a look at the cave," Lung Ruoxue said. She had a good impression of this tiger which protected its loved ones with its life and wanted to help it. "Okay," Darling said reluctantly. "I wanted to be together with my cute master." "Boo-hoo." Lung Ruoxue and Charm quietly entered the cave, but what they saw after entering surprised her a little. There was also a pure white tiger in the cave, and it was also a level 7 holy beast. She originally thought that the white tiger was injured, but when she got closer, she realized that the white tiger was in labor and seemed to be having a difficult birth. Hearing sounds, the cloud-striped white tiger turned her head in pain and looked at Long Ruoxue vigilantly. "Human, I won't let you succeed. Humans shouldn't even think about snatching my child away from me. I'm here to help you," Lung Ruoxue explained to the white tiger. She knew that some humans like to steal spirit beast cubs, so it was no wonder that this tiger was so vigilant. "Do you think I will believe the words of a human? Humans are all despicable and shameless." The mother white tiger's blue eyes were full of disbelief and disdain. "You don't have to believe me, but if your child doesn't come out, I'm afraid both your lives will be lost, right?" Long Ruoxue reminded her from where she was standing without moving forward. High-level holy beasts were as intelligent as humans, so she believed that the white tiger would think it through. The white tiger fell silent. "My master isn't that kind of human," Charm said angrily when he saw that the white tiger didn't reply. This stinky tiger really doesn't know how to appreciate favors. But he didn't deny that what she said was true. It was also because he had interacted with humans for a long time that he knew that not all humans were like that. Purple-eyed snow fox. The mother white tiger, which had been thinking, looked at the small and cute white fox lying on the human's shoulder in astonishment. As a spirit beast, she was very clear about the status of purple-eyed snow foxes among spirit beasts. She didn't expect a noble purple-eyed snow fox to acknowledge a human as his master. Chapter 73. Abducting a Family, 1. "Humph, you have good eyesight," Charm said proudly. Most spirit beasts would mistake him for a white fox. Seeing that Long Ruoxue was the master of the purple-eyed snow fox, the mother white tiger didn't repel her anymore. "Eat this." Long Ruoxue hurriedly walked to the mother white tiger's side when she saw that the tiger had lowered her vigilance. She didn't know how to deliver babies, so she could only rely on this tiger itself. "Thank you." The white tiger opened her mouth and took the pill Long Ruoxue gave her. The pill melted as soon as it entered her mouth, and a refreshing fragrance refreshed her mind. Moreover, the mother white tiger clearly felt that all the spiritual power consumed in her body had returned, and the pain had lessened considerably. She was full of strength, which was of vital importance to her, who was currently in labor. About half an hour later, under the efforts of the recovered mother white tiger, 3 little white tigers were finally born. Lung Ruoxue was at a loss as she looked at the 3 little white balls of flesh that weren't even the size of an adult's palm. Why aren't they eggs? Lung Ruoxue asked, a little dumbfounded. Aren't all spirit beasts born from eggs in this world? Charm looked at his master's confused expression and chuckled. His master looked really cute now. Master, spirit beasts can choose whether they want to give live births or not. It's just that giving live births consumes more nutrients from the mother's body. So spirit beasts basically choose to birth eggs, Charm explained. It was clear that this white tiger loved her children very much and was also a great mother to choose to give birth to her own children. Oh, so that's why. Lung Ruoxue felt so embarrassed. Fortunately, there was no one else here. Actually, she couldn't be blamed for not knowing because such things weren't recorded in any book. Dear. The white tiger outside ran in and rushed to his beloved wife's side, as if there was no one else around after the danger was averted. The 2 tigers rubbed against each other affectionately, with only each other in their eyes. Can these 2 tigers not be so mushy? Lung Ruoxue was a little speechless, but she saw that his injuries had healed, so Yi Chun and the others must have treated him. Shuer, how did it go? Yi Chun was the first to enter. Beloved master. A purple shadow jumped directly into Lung Ruoxue's arms. She gave birth to 3 little tigers, Lung Ruoxue said somewhat helplessly while caressing the soft fur of Darling in her arms. The 2 tigers didn't even care about their children once they saw each other. Let me see, Yi Chun said curiously. Where? The others heard that 3 tiger cubs had been born the moment they entered, and all of them were eager to see them. Wow, they're so cute. The 3 fluffy little meatballs captured everyone's heart instantly, but they only dared to look at them and didn't dare to touch them at all. After all, most beasts protecting their cubs were very fierce. After being intimate with his wife, the male white tiger walked to Lung Ruoxue and said gratefully, "Thank you for saving my wife." Although they were high-level holy beasts who had never liked humans, this human had helped their entire family. He really didn't know how to repay her. He thought for a while and then walked to the 3 little white tiger cubs, which had yet to open their eyes. He picked up 2 of them, came in front of Lung Ruoxue, and placed the little tiger cubs in his mouth in front of her. "Please take care of my children," the male white tiger said, feeling reluctant to part with them. Does this white tiger want his children to become spirit beasts for Ruoxue? Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua were dumbfounded. Is this the legendary moral character of a person? Even after exhausting themselves working hard, others might not be able to obtain a spirit beast with good aptitude. But now, this holy beast actually took the initiative to deliver his children to her door. They were children of holy beasts, so their natural aptitude would be much better than ordinary spirit beasts. How many people would dream of having them? Are you willing to part with them? Lung Ruoxue asked thoughtfully. You saved our entire family. I have nothing to repay you with, the male white tiger said honestly. Spirit beasts knew to repay favors. But I can't bear to see your family separate, Lung Ruoxue said lightly. What does Miss mean? Don't tell me she wants to capture this entire white tiger family in one fell swoop. Feng De and the others couldn't help quipping in their minds. Why don't your whole family come with me? My home is big, and I can afford to raise you all, Lung Ruoxue said without blushing or skipping a beat, wearing an expression that said she was doing this for your own good. We were right. Feng De and the others were flabbergasted. The male white tiger thought about it and walked to his wife. The 2 tigers discussed again, and then the male white tiger walked back to Lung Ruoxue. All right, my whole family will go with you, the male white tiger said. After discussing it with his wife, they both felt that this human was not bad, so acknowledging her as their master was acceptable. Miss, you are too charming. Feng De and the others' admiration for their young lady rose to an indescribable height. Even Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua were looking at her strangely. Beast trainers would have no jobs if everyone could obtain holy beasts so easily. Lung Ruoxue got the 5 white tigers to enter the heaven and earth bracelet, and then everyone left the misty woods together. After returning home, Lung Ruoxue went straight to the cold tea pavilion. Big brother, Schwer. Lung Ruhan put down his book happily when he saw his sister. Big brother, I have a gift for you. What gift? Lung Ruhan was curious. Lung Ruoxue released the white tiger family from the heaven and earth bracelet. Lung Ruhan looked at the white tigers that occupied his entire room in astonishment. Cloud-patterned white tigers. Where did you get them? Cloud-patterned white tigers were very precious among tiger-type spirit beasts, and they had the highest aptitude. Moreover, from the looks of it, Schwer had clearly brought their entire family here. Lung Ruhan gently picked up a little white tiger that had yet to fully open its eyes. His face was full of love as his big palm gently caressed the soft fur on the little white tiger's body. Lung Ruoxue knew that her brother definitely liked them from his expression. She wanted to give the white tiger children to her brother the moment the male white tiger offered them to her. The beautiful white tigers and her immortal-like brother were a perfect match. Chapter 74. Abducting a Family 2. They'll leave my big brother to you. Lung Ruoxue patted the male white tiger's head. She had already told the white tiger couple the general situation on the way back, hoping that they could protect her brother. The male white tiger nodded his huge head. Even though it was a pity that he couldn't acknowledge Lung Ruoxue as his master, he still had a good impression of this man. As soon as Lung Ruoxue left her brother's room, she saw her grandfather. Schwer, Grandpa thanks you, Lung Qingtian said from outside the door. Grandpa, why are you being so polite with your own granddaughter? Lung Ruoxue deliberately sounded displeased. Grandpa was wrong. Grandpa shouldn't be polite with Schwer, Lung Qingtian quickly coaxed. That's right. Lung Ruoxue dragged her grandfather away and told him about what happened today. Big sister, it's time. The pink little Qingju appeared in the purple bamboo house and reminded her. His big sister went into seclusion the night after returning from the misty woods. Got it, Lung Ruoxue answered and slowly opened her beautiful eyes. Her body was like a bottomless pit. No amount of spiritual energy could satiate her hunger, even though absorbing spiritual energy was faster in the heaven and earth bracelet. Lu Tao, Lung Ruoxue called out softly after exiting the heaven and earth bracelet. Mississippi. Lu Tao opened the door gently and walked in. Is Fengda back? Before she went into seclusion, she had already told Fengda to pick her up this morning. Not yet, Lu Tao replied. Okay, where are the others? Having breakfast in the front hall. Lung Ruoxue nodded, washed up, and went to the front hall with Lu Tao. Why hasn't Miss come out yet? I'm out. Lung Ruoxue and Lu Tao heard Lin Yuan muttering to himself just as they entered the front hall. Schwer, come and have breakfast, Lung Qingtian said happily when he saw his granddaughter. Okay. Lung Ruoxue sat down in the empty seat next to her grandfather. Fengda returned after breakfast. Miss, everyone is here. They're in the garden. Fengda said directly when he walked into the front hall and saw Lung Ruoxue. Then let's go to the garden. Lung Ruoxue stood up and walked out with everyone. From now on until the selection competition, we won't be training in the academy. They'll divide you into 2 teams and bring you to the illusionary forest for training, Lung Ruoxue explained to the puzzled-looking students in front of her. The illusionary forest. That place is very dangerous. The expressions of some timid students changed when Lung Ruoxue mentioned the illusionary forest. If anyone is afraid and doesn't want to go, you can let me know, Lung Ruoxue added after seeing their reactions. Everyone had their own aspirations, and she didn't want to impose on others. The students looked at each other, and their hearts gradually became firm. In fact, they also knew that they shouldn't be timid and afraid of trouble if they wanted to become strong. Since no one is backing out, you must absolutely obey your leader's arrangements when you are there. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences yourself, Lung Ruoxue warned. She didn't need students who didn't follow orders. Yes, everyone answered in unison. Your leaders are Feng Moran and me. Those whose names are called, follow me. The others follow Feng Moran, Lung Ruoxue said and motioned for Lin Yuan to start calling out names. Lin Yuan took out the name list of prearranged teams and started reading it. Xiaohua. Shouting. After sorting the teams, Lung Ruoxue let Quill out. After appearing, Quill immediately enlarged himself, and the giant black eagle instantly occupied nearly the entire garden. Grandpa, Big Brother, we're leaving, Lung Ruoxue said when she saw that everyone was seated on Quill's back. Okay, get going. Be careful. Lung Qingtian couldn't help reminding her. Swear, Big Brother will miss you. Lung Ruhan felt slightly reluctant to part. Quill, let's go. Lung Ruoxue patted his head helplessly. Grandpa, Big Brother, don't make it so sad. Lung Qingtian and his grandson watched as Quill flew farther and farther away. They only returned to their rooms reluctantly when they could no longer see him. After Quill became a level 9 holy beast, his flying speed was nearly twice as fast as before, and they arrived at the illusionary forest a few hours later. After entering the illusionary forest, they didn't walk far before they reached a fork in the road. Big Brother Fengda, let's split up and gather here 10 days later, Lung Ruoxue said to the two of them. Fengda's team were all members of the Blazing Flame mercenary group, so she had nothing to worry about. Then she led her team down the right path. Let's camp here today. After walking for a while, Lung Ruoxue stopped and looked at the open space in front of her. She had stayed here for a few days before and knew that it was very safe. Okay. Yichun was also very satisfied with this place. Since they couldn't do much today, it was better to rest early so that they could adapt to the environment here. Quill and I will go break through, Lung Ruoxue said quietly to Yichun. All right. Yichun nodded. Quill carried Lung Ruoxue to the place where he used to live. It was inside a giant tree and a different world after they entered. There was a wide cave connected to the tree and a hot spring inside. Quill, this place isn't bad, Lung Ruoxue exclaimed. It's okay. Quill scratched his head with his wings shyly. Let's begin, Lung Ruoxue said after looking around Quill's former home. She had been storing her spiritual power diligently since Quill advanced to level 9 Holy Beast. Otherwise, she would not have advanced so quickly. Quill nodded and threw a green spirit pill into his mouth. Then he half laid on the ground and waited to advance. After about an hour, the spiritual power in Quill's body finally broke through the threshold. Quill successfully advanced to Divine Beast with the descent of heaven and earth laws. Master, Quill, who had transformed into a human, called out happily. Not bad. Lung Ruoxue looked at Quill's human form with satisfaction. Another handsome and beautiful man with black hair, black eyes, and a cold temperament. Even though he wasn't as alluring as Charm, he was beautiful enough for human aesthetics. But the benefits that Quill brought her due to advancing to Divine Beast didn't allow her to break through. She only had a lot more spiritual power in her body. Alas, since I cultivated the heaven-defying art, my body has become a bottomless pit that no amount of spiritual power can fill. Chapter 75. Bringing the team to the illusionary forest after Quill advanced, Lung Ruoxue and he returned to their campsite. You're back. Yichun welcomed Shuer and Quill. Is everything okay? Lung Ruoxue asked worriedly. These students were inexperienced. No issues. I got Xiaohua to bring them hunting, Yichun explained. Leader. As they spoke, they saw Xiaohua leading a group of people back with a lot of game in their hands. Seems like your harvest was good. Lung Ruoxue looked at them appreciatively. This should be the safest place in the illusionary forest. As long as they didn't venture farther, they wouldn't encounter any danger. Hee, it's okay, Xiaohua said modestly, but his face was full of pride. After dinner, have an early rest. We start the devil training tomorrow, Lung Ruoxue said seriously. Leader, what is devil training? Xiaohua asked curiously. The others also looked at Lung Ruoxue in confusion, their eyes obviously yearning to know. You'll know then. Lung Ruoxue smiled mysteriously, not planning to tell them now. At the camp of Feng Moran's team. Elder brother, I can't take it anymore. Let's rest for a while. Feng Aoran pleaded while panting. The others were also so tired that they directly collapsed on the ground. You can't take it anymore? The training I received back then was twice as much what you've received. Feng Moran looked at the students lying on the ground, unwilling to get up with some contempt. The training intensity of his team was not very high. He believed that the training in Schwer's team would definitely be similar to theirs. No way. How can Ruoxue be so terrifying? Where did she come up with these methods? Feng Aoran asked fearfully. He was a spiritualist, not a martial artist. Why did he wake up early every morning to run and train his stamina? He could run in normal circumstances, but he had to run while carrying dozens of kilograms of weights on his legs every day. No, to be precise, it was a dozen kilograms on the first day, and it increased every day. It was already the third day, and the weight on his legs added up to nearly 50 kilograms. Boo-hoo. Schwerer said that you have poor stamina, so you have to get up early to train your stamina first. There will be actual combat later, Feng Moran reminded very kindly. If you can't take this bit of physical training, what about actual combat? Actual combat? Kill me. Feng Aoran lay on the grass like a dead fish. He had been training his physical strength almost every day for the past 3 days. His whole body was aching every day, so how could he have the strength to fight? What is that sound? Feng Aoran pricked up his ears cautiously. He seemed to have heard some rumbling. Is there a sound? Why didn't I hear it? Feng Moran pretended to be confused. I'll go take a look. A boy volunteered. Leader, it's a group of spirit beasts. The boy ran back in panic, his face pale, obviously scared out of his wits. Elder brother, what should we do? Feng Aoran asked anxiously. The spirit beasts in the illusionary forest weren't easy to deal with. What can we do? Fight, of course. You're all spiritual monarchs, so surely you won't be so cowardly? Feng Moran deliberately provoked them. Schwer is right. True powerhouses are tempered through battles. Fine, I'll fight. Feng Aoran was unwilling to admit defeat. He was already much weaker than his brother in terms of strength, so he couldn't lose in terms of his imposing manner. As soon as Feng Aoran finished speaking, the spirit beasts appeared in front of them. Feng Aoran and the others quickly dragged their aching bodies to get up and fight. Elder brother, why aren't you helping? Feng Aoran happened to see his brother leisurely eating grilled meat while he was fighting 2 spirit beasts. His brother didn't seem to have any intention of helping. Moreover, the spirit beasts, which bullied the weak and feared the strong, didn't dare to attack his brother at all. Feng Aoran was so angry. He attacked even more ruthlessly, taking one down and then another. But as he finished off the 2 spirit beasts, 2 more spirit beasts came to surround him. If you can't even deal with these spirit beasts, do you still want to participate in the academy competition? Feng Moran said disdainfully. This was only the beginning. Let them adapt first. There would be more spirit beasts in the future. Feng Moran's words greatly agitated these hot-blooded youths and aroused their fighting spirit as well. Soon, they wiped out this group of spirit beasts. But before they could even catch their breath, they heard another series of rumbles. Heavens, is it another group of spirit beasts? Their guess was right. Another group of spirit beasts arrived after the previous group, and this time, the level of these spirit beasts was obviously much higher than the previous one. Kill! Feng Aoran roared and charged forward as the vanguard. Days passed with constant fighting. In General Lung's mansion, Old Man Lin, why are you here? Lung Qingtian looked at his old friend in surprise. This old man hadn't been here for several days. Do you know where Ruoxue went? Lin Liang asked directly. Tomorrow was the selection competition, but Ruoxue and the others weren't back yet. Didn't Ruoxue bring those students out for training? I heard that the academy doesn't have a place for them to train, Lung Qingtian said slightly teasingly. In fact, if it weren't for the sake of his old friend, he really wanted to say that he was too useless as the principal. Lin Liang didn't expect the students of the Supreme Hall to be so overbearing, but he also didn't expect Ruoxue to leave the school with the students from the Sacred Hall either. He originally thought that Schwer didn't take the people from the Supreme Hall seriously. In fact, his guess was right. Lung Ruoxue really didn't take the clowns from the Supreme Hall seriously. The reason she brought the Sacred Hall students out to train was mainly that she felt they were too weak. Moreover, going to the forest to experience tests of life and death was much better than simulating training in the academy's training room. There's no rush. They will be back when it's time. Long Qingtian comforted his old friend. Lin Liang sighed. He could only wait. 10 days later, at night. Chapter 76. Everyone in the sacred hall forfeited? Lung Ruoxue and the others stood at the fork in the illusionary forest. Not long later, Feng Das and Feng Moran's teams emerged one after another. Everyone was injured, their clothes tattered and disheveled, but they seemed to be in high spirits. "Miss, we're here," Feng Da shouted excitedly when he saw Lung Ruoxue. "Okay." She was still very relaxed when it came to Feng Da. "Big brother Feng, did everything go smoothly?" Lung Ruoxue asked with concern. "It went smoothly." Feng Moran looked at his disheveled team and smiled. These sheltered students had been exhausted over the past 10 days. "That's good. Although you guys are very tired now, you will know the benefits in the future." Lung Ruoxue looked at the pairs of slightly resentful eyes and comforted them. "Hey, you're still alive." Feng Aoran pulled Xiao Hua aside. "Stinky brat, are you looking for a beating?" "I'm alive and well," Xiao Hua said discontentedly while glaring at Feng Aoran. "How can you say that?" "I'm full of energy." "No, that's not what I meant. I wanted to ask how your devil training went." Feng Aoran was very curious. Their team hadn't had a good night's sleep for the past 10 days. Sometimes, spirit beasts would attack them in the middle of the night. If they were slow to react and were injured, they could only blame their bad luck. Elder brother didn't care at all. His standards were very low, and it was fine as long as they didn't die. Wah, how evil. I don't know how to describe it. Xiao Hua hesitated. After some thought, he added, 1 word, miserable. 2 words, very miserable. 3 words, very, very miserable. Did you encounter any beast groups? Feng Aoran asked curiously. There were a lot, Xiao Hua said unnaturally. Thinking about the wave after waves of spirit beasts made him want to cry. Woo-woo. How many waves a day? I lost count. About once every 2 to 3 hours on average. Feng Aoran was at a loss for words. Elder brother was right. The other team was indeed more miserable than us. Boo-hoo. They were still considered lucky now that he thought about it. Elder brother is so kind. Are you two done chatting? We're going back, Lung Ruoxue shouted while sitting on Quill's back. Everyone else had already sat down except the 2 of them. Okay, we're coming. The 2 of them were a little embarrassed seeing so many eyes looking at them. They hurriedly sat on Quill's back. Let's go, Lung Ruoxue ordered. Quill flew into the air in the direction of Phoenix City. The competition field of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy was already full of students who came to spectate. All the pre-competition work was ready. Now, they were just waiting to watch the matches. Principal, is the competition starting now? Chunjian asked on the stage. It would be better if those people don't come back. It's not time yet. What's the hurry? Lin Liang said expressionlessly and calmly, but he was very nervous in his heart. Why isn't that girl back yet? Then we'll wait for the last 10 minutes. If they still don't appear, we'll treat it as if they've forfeited. Chun Jian said gloatingly. Okay. Time passed by 1 minute at a time. Principal, it's the last minute. Chun Jian reminded him after looking at the time. Lin Liang glared at Chen Jian, the words "I don't need you to remind me" clearly written on his face. He kept muttering in his heart, "Come back quickly. Come back quickly." Seeing that there were only a few seconds left, Chan Jian rushed to announce, everyone from the sacred hall forfeits. The competition begins now. Just as he finished speaking, a giant black eagle descended from the sky, taking up most of the square. And sitting on the eagle were the people from the sacred hall. Who said we're forfeiting? The time is just right, Lung Ruoxue said mockingly as she looked at the timer. That's right. Who said we're forfeiting? Feng De chimed in. That's right. We didn't forfeit. There's still 1 second to go. A youth on the eagle said. Hey, do you see that? That eagle seems to be a holy beast, a flying holy beast. Someone shouted from the crowd below. Everyone's eyes instantly turned to Quill. Lin Liang looked at the black eagle with a burning gaze. Holy beast? That eagle isn't a holy beast. It's obviously a divine beast. But this eagle was deliberately restraining its might, which was why the others mistook it for a holy beast. but it couldn't hide from him. This girl really surprised him. Okay, quiet down. I hereby announce that the competition has officially begun, Lin Liang said resolutely. This girl is really too bad. She only appeared at the last second. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy was divided into 4 divisions: Spiritualist, Alchemist, Artificer, and Beast Trainer. The Spiritualist divisions were divided into elementary classes, intermediate classes, advanced classes, and the Sacred Hall, and there was an additional Supreme Hall now. The selection competition this time was mainly a competition between spiritualists, where students at Spiritual Monarch and above could participate. The top 30 students would qualify to represent the Heavenly Phoenix Academy in the Academy competition held once every 3 years on the Ling Feng continent. The Alchemist, Artificer, and Beast Trainer divisions would choose 1 representative each to participate in the Academy competition. There were around 150 students participating in the selection competition this time, and the duration of the competition was 3 days. The rules of the competition were 2-on-2 battles, with the winners entering the next round and the losers still having 2-on-2 battles. Then the winners would also enter the next round, and the losers would be completely eliminated. The reason for this arrangement was to give everyone another chance, and to choose the best talents to represent the Academy in the Academy competition. There were a total of 10 arenas on the competition field. After the host announced the rules and said some words of encouragement, the students who registered for the competition went on stage according to the number plates given to them beforehand. After the first round of preliminaries, a total of 110 students successfully advanced to the next round. After a 2-hour break, the second round of the preliminaries officially began. Students, the second round of the competition is now underway. You are getting closer and closer to the top 30. Do your best. The host gave the stage to the contestants after speaking. Wow, senior brother Yi is so handsome. A love-struck girl shouted in the audience. Chapter 77. Who said we're forfeiting? After the start of the second round, Yi Chun, who was the first to go on stage, was like a shining beacon, attracting everyone's attention and stealing the limelight. Feeling the craziness of the love-struck women, Long Ruoxue couldn't help being a little speechless. There were clearly 20 people competing in the 10 arenas, but the others were all blatantly ignored. Congratulations. Everyone from the Sacred Hall has entered the next round, Fu Mingyuan said in a friendly manner as he walked over, displaying his gentlemanly demeanor. What's there to congratulate? It's just the first round. If they can't even pass this, they don't deserve to stay in the Sacred Hall, Long Ruoxue, who was sitting on the side watching the competition attentively, said disapprovingly. Hey, why are you so rude? Senior brother Fu came to congratulate you out of goodwill. What's with your attitude? A female fan of senior brother Fu immediately complained, feeling outraged. Did I ask him to come? Long Ruoxue said with a sneer. She would never be friends with the Fu family. In that case, why bother wasting her time and effort entertaining an irrelevant person? How can a simpleton know any manners? Why bother with her? Chen Fong said mockingly while walking over. Well said. Not only do I, a simpleton, not know any manners, but I also like to hit people when I'm mad. Long Ruoxue said with a smile that was not a smile. After the match just now, there seemed to be more women looking for trouble with her. I won't hold it against a barbaric woman, Chen Fong said angrily and walked away unwillingly. She knew that Fu Mingzhu was beaten up by Long Ruoxue and had her face scratched by her spirit beast, so she was really a little scared. What's the matter? Yi Chun, who had finished his second round, got off the stage and walked to Long Ruoxue's side. It's okay. Just a few clowns. It's my turn. Long Ruoxue walked onto the arena calmly. Her opponent was actually Sun Ting from the Supreme Hall. Long Ruoxue couldn't help laughing softly when she saw Sun Ting staring at her with jealousy and hatred. She heard that Sun Ting was injured after the freak threw her out of the window. She didn't expect her to recover so quickly. You simpleton. What are you laughing at? Sun Ting said in anger. What? Are the people from the Supreme Hall so overbearing that they don't allow others to laugh? Moreover, you keep saying that I'm a simpleton. Then what are you, who is about to be defeated by a simpleton? Long Ruoxue deliberately provoked. I won't lose. Sun Ting said confidently. For this selection competition, she had a secret weapon that she didn't want to take out so early. But she didn't mind exposing it in advance to teach this simpleton a lesson. A long black whip appeared in Sun Ting's hand. The body of the whip was pitch black, and it faintly carried a fierce aura, as though a black dragon was roving around. Her whip immediately attracted everyone's attention. "It's a sacred artifact," someone shouted as soon as the whip appeared. "This is the Dragon Roar whip?" Lin Liang exclaimed in surprise. He didn't expect Sun Ting to take out her family heirloom. It seems Sun Ting is determined to win this match. The Sun family has really put in a lot of effort. I wonder if Ruoxue can handle it? A sacred artifact? The Sun family is only a medium-sized family, but they actually have a sacred artifact in their possession. Why has no one snatched it? Lung Ruoxue thought in her mind some evil intentions. What she didn't know was that many people had designs on this whip in the past. But the genius ancestor of the Sun family who refined this whip had integrated the bloodline of the Sun family into it. Except for those who had the blood of the Sun family, no one else could use it. So this whip had been handed down generation after generation. Lung Ruoxue, "You're dead meat," Sun Ting said through gritted teeth. She infused her spiritual power into the whip and swung it fiercely at Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue turned her body slightly, and the whip brushed past her. She looked at Sun Ting provocatively. "It's my turn now." A sword appeared in Lung Ruoxue's hand. The blade was thin and transparent like crystal and was constantly releasing fierce cold air. Lin Liang's pupils constricted. This girl also has a sacred artifact in her hands, and its grade is clearly higher than the Dragon Roar whip. He could already feel the Dragon Roar whip trembling slightly. It seemed like his worries were in vain. "Behold my flame feather." Lung Ruoxue infused fire attribute spiritual power into the sword, raised her wrist, and released the flame feather along the tip of her sword. It shot at Sun Ting like a burning feather. Sun Ting dodged the exquisite and cute flame feather, shooting at her easily with a few slick moves. "Is this all that your flame feather can do?" Sun Ting mocked. "You'll know when you try," Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. This was the first time she was using the improved flame feather. Although it was only an advanced spiritual skill, its might was not inferior to a heavenly spiritual skill. Whoever dared to look down on this small feather would be dead for sure. How is this possible? Not long after Sun Ting gloated, she saw the small feather she dodged turn back toward her and splitting into two. Then 2 became 4, 4 became 8, multiplying endlessly. She wanted to dodge but couldn't, and numerous small feathers even burned her body. Although the sparks were small, they were very painful. The small and cute feathers also entangled her whip. Before long, the whip actually burned into ashes, and Sun Ting fainted from the pain. Everyone watched this scene with their mouths agape. When did this flame feather become so powerful? Even a sacred artifact was burned to ashes. Heavens, it's really too terrifying. That was a sacred artifact. If all these flames had burned her body, Sun Ting probably wouldn't have just simply fainted. Lin Liang looked at Lung Ruoxue speechlessly. "Lass, can you not cause such a stir? Can't you keep a low profile? Did I win?" Lung Ruoxue looked at the dumbfounded referee. You won," the referee said hurriedly after recovering from the shock. His forehead was covered in cold sweat because he had personally felt the power of the small flames just now. It was really too terrifying, and he still had lingering fears. Chapter 78. New Rules of the Selection Competition 1. Lung Ruoxue didn't care about the way everyone was looking at her, as if they saw a monster, as she walked off the stage calmly to rest. "Miss, why don't you just burn that annoying Sun Ting to death?" Feng De couldn't help asking. Students should care for and love one another. How can you be so cruel to your own classmate? Lung Ruoxue said very kindly while giving Feng De a knock on the head. "Miss is right to lecture me," Feng De said with a dark face. "When did Miss become a saint? But for some people, letting them live is more painful than death," Lung Ruoxue added. "Miss is wise," Feng De said flatteringly. "This is the Miss I know. When has our Schwer not been wise?" Yichen walked over with a plate of fruits. "You must be tired. Here, have some fruit and let husband give you a massage," Yichen said considerately. This is the best time to take advantage. So exciting. Lung Ruox's face darkened. This freak. Big brother Yi. A gentle voice suddenly sounded in their ears, just as Yi Chen was trying to take advantage of her by massaging her. Lung Ruoxue raised her head slightly and saw that Su Nair had appeared in front of them without them noticing. This woman actually came here while the seventh prince was competing on stage, and she even addressed him as Big Brother Yi. Lung Ruoxue felt her hair stand on end when she heard this sappy address. Please don't call me Big Brother Yi. You don't have the right, Yi Chen said with displeasure. Why does the way this woman look at me make me want to beat her up so badly? Our families have been friends for a long time, Su Nair said aggrievedly. Tears flashed in her beautiful eyes, making her look pitiful. I'm sorry. The Yi family you mentioned has nothing to do with me. What he implied was that she shouldn't try to claim connections with him. Let's go back, Big Brother Yi. Lung Ruoxue said when she saw that everyone from the sacred hall had finished competing. She even deliberately emphasized the words Big Brother Yi. No, freak still feels more suitable. Okay, let's go back early and rest early. Yi Chen said suggestively. Why does Schwer's Big Brother Yi sound so nice? He couldn't help feeling elated thinking about it. The two of them ignored Su Nair and left. Jealousy gnawing at heart, Su Nair looked at their backs with resentful eyes. I don't believe that I'm inferior to a simpleton. There's no man in this world that I can't have. I won't let that simpleton go. The two of them rode on Quill and soon returned to the general's mansion. Schwer, why are you two back so early? Isn't it the selection competition today? Where are Fengda and the others? Lung Qingtian asked curiously when he saw his granddaughter. Our matches were over, so we came back early. Fengda and the others are still watching the liveliness, Lung Ruoxue explained. What were the results? Lung Qingtian asked. His granddaughter only asked Charm to tell him that she had left for the competition without even returning home. There's not much suspense for the first two rounds. About 2/3 of the people from the Sacred Hall will enter the next round. That's already very impressive. Okay, Grandpa, I'm tired. I'm going back to my room to sleep. Okay, go ahead. Lung Qingtian knew that his granddaughter must be exhausted from the past few days. Freak, go back to your room and sleep too, Lung Ruoxue said to Yi Chen when they arrived at the Listening Snow Pavilion. Schwer, you called me Big Brother Yi just now. Yi Chen reminded her. You damn freak, quickly go to sleep. Lung Ruoxue roared and went straight to her room. Say, Big Brother Yi again? You might as well kill me. Standing foolishly in the yard, Yi Chen watched as Schwer entered her room. Schwer's nicknames are always so different, but I like it. On the second day of the selection competition, Lung Ruoxue and the others arrived at the competition venue early. But after entering the venue, they found that the number of spectators today seemed to be much more than yesterday. Moreover, all of them were brimming with enthusiasm, and the atmosphere was rather fiery. After yesterday's matches, a total of 83 students entered the third round of the preliminaries. Today is the last day of the preliminaries, so today's matches will be more intense. Everyone, do your best. The host encouraged as usual before the official competition. Schwer, 60 students from our sacred hall, entered the third round yesterday, Feng Moran said happily. That's normal. How could they not defeat the sheltered students after spending 10 days in the dangerous illusionary forest? Moreover, she didn't want them to be satisfied with just entering the third round. Lung Ruox's match today was relatively easy, but as soon as she entered the stage, her opponent admitted defeat. She couldn't help but be a little speechless. Am I that scary? Today was the last round of the preliminaries. The battle should have been very intense, but it was just the opposite. Especially for the students of the Sacred Hall, they often determined victory or defeat with a single move. And if both competitors were from the Sacred Hall, it usually only took a few seconds to decide the outcome because there would always be someone admitting defeat. This made the referee very speechless. After the third round finished, a total of 50 students entered the final round, of which only 5 were from the Supreme Hall, while the rest were from the Sacred Hall. Even though the entire selection competition had not officially ended, it was already obvious that the Sacred Hall would win by a landslide. Congratulations. Fu Mingyuan walked over again. Although the results of the competition made him a little depressed, he still walked over to congratulate them in a gentlemanly manner. "Thank you. I heard that the rules will change in the final round. I hope to have the chance to compete with you," Lung Ruoxue said politely. She was very satisfied with today's results. "I'm looking forward to it too." On the third day of the selection competition, because it was the Academy's internal selection competition, everyone here to watch was a student of the Academy, and it was also the largest audience in the 3 days. Dear students, the selection competition is becoming more and more intense. We will know who is qualified to represent our Academy to participate in the Academy competition after today. Let us wait and see," the host said, trying to stir up emotions in addition to his usual encouragement. Chapter 79, New Rules of the Selection Competition 2. Today's matches will adopt the format of challenges. You can advance as long as you defeat 5 people, no matter if you are the challenger or the challenged. Similarly, those who fail 5 times will lose their qualifications. The host explained the rules of today's competition. "What does that mean?" Feng Moran was puzzled. "It means that we have a chance to chase everyone from the Supreme Hall out of the top 30, Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. Lung Ruoxue's words made everyone's blood boil with excitement. "Next, let us welcome our first challenger. Xiao Ting, come here." Lung Ruoxue whispered a few words in Xiao Ting's ears since he was the first to go on stage. Then Xiao Ting walked to the center of the stage confidently. "The first person I want to challenge is Senior Sister Chen Fong," Xiao Ting said calmly. "Don't regret it," Chen Fong said disdainfully. "Humph. How dare this poor boy challenge me? Senior Sister, please." Xiao Ting smiled. Chen Fong took the lead to swing her sword at Xiao Ting, and the water attribute's spiritual power in her sword rushed toward Xiao Ting. Xiao Ting smiled calmly and gently blocked Chen Fang's attack with the earth element's spiritual skill in his hand. Then he turned his hand and gently released an advanced water element spiritual skill at Chen Fong. Chen Fong couldn't dodge in time and was hit directly. Chen Fong swallowed the blood in her mouth and looked at Xiao Ting defiantly. "No, that's impossible. I am among the top 10 in the Academy. How can I be defeated by an unknown poor boy with one move? I still have my spirit beast," Chen Fong said forcefully. She didn't intend to admit defeat and summoned her spirit beast, a level 1 holy beast, a Babel long-armed ape. In fact, spirit beasts were not allowed in either the Academy's selection competition or the Academy competition. This was for the sake of fairness and also to protect the safety of students. After all, even if the students who could participate in the Academy competition were not geniuses, they were elites of prominent families. It would be very troublesome if there was really an accident, and Chen Fang's use of her spirit beasts had obviously violated the rules of the competition. Lung Ruoxue stood below the stage, her beautiful eyes glancing indifferently at the referee who ignored the violations. Fortunately, she had prepared. Otherwise, spirit beast? I have one too. Xiao Ting smiled elegantly and summoned his spirit beast, a level 5 holy beast, a lightning leopard. The leader had even helped him contract this holy beast. Chen Fong was dumbfounded. This is impossible. How is this possible? How can this poor guy's spirit beast be better than mine? Senior Sister, do you still want to compete? Xiao Ting smiled confidently. The bright smile on his face was a sharp contrast to Chen Fang's dejection. I admit defeat. Chen Fong was stunned for a long time. In the end, she had to admit defeat. She knew that she had lost too much dignity this time. In addition to Fu Mingyuan and Chen Fong, Li Yu, Su Nair, and Wang Wei from the Supreme Hall also entered the finals. After Xiao Ting challenged Chen Fong, he challenged Li Yu, Su Nair, and Wang Wei in succession. He also challenged the weakest student from the Sacred Hall. After defeating them, he was the first to enter the top 30. Thereafter, the students from the Sacred Hall went on stage consecutively, challenged their opponents according to Long Ruoxue's plan, and successfully entered the top 30. After losing 5 times in a row, Wang Wei was the first to be eliminated. He didn't even have the chance to challenge anyone. Immediately afterward, Su Nair and Li Yu were eliminated. Only Fu Mingyuan and Chen Fong remained from the Supreme Hall. Fu Mingyuan survived because no one had challenged him yet, and Chen Fong was facing elimination at any time since she had lost 4 times already. Seeing this situation, even a fool understood. But even if they understood, there was nothing they could do because Fu Mingyuan's and Chen Fang's appearance numbers were at the back. They had no chance to challenge anyone, so they could only watch as the people from the Supreme Hall were eliminated one by one. Principal, this competition isn't fair. Chun Jian stood up from his seat angrily and said anxiously, "How is it not fair?" Lin Liang pretended to be puzzled. This girl is really ruthless. Seems like she doesn't plan on letting anyone from the Supreme Hall obtain a quota. The rules of the competition are unfair. Some students don't even have a chance to challenge others. How can they be eliminated just like that? Chun Jian said angrily. Vice Principal, are you referring to the students from the Supreme Hall? Elder Chiu asked with a smile. Vice Principal Chun, you were very supportive of this rule at first, and now you're saying that it's unfair. How can you convince the students if you go back on your word like this? Lin Liang scolded. He knew that Chen Jian was willing to agree to this rule because he believed in the strength of the students from the Supreme Hall. But the current situation was contrary to his expectations, causing his anxiety. But it was too late now. After Chen Fong was swept out of the competition, Fu Mingyuan was the only one left from the entire Supreme Hall. His heart in knots, Fu Mingyuan looked at the stunningly beautiful girl with a complicated expression. Was she really a simpleton before? Or was she pretending from the start? He had many doubts, but he knew very well that their Supreme Hall had suffered a crushing defeat in this competition. Feng Moran, Mu Li, Yi Chun, and Feng De went on stage one after another and challenged Fu Mingyuan. They won 4 consecutive matches and successfully entered the top 30. I want to challenge Long Ruoxue, Fu Mingyuan said. It was finally his turn to go on stage. He had lost 4 times, and there happened to be 5 people on stage including him, but there was only one spot. Fu Mingyuan knew very well that Long Ruoxue was his biggest opponent among the 5, so only by defeating Long Ruoxue could he have a chance to enter the top 30. I accept the challenge. Long Ruoxue walked directly to the center of the stage. She had deliberately brought about this result. Otherwise, Fu Mingyuan would not have stayed until the end. Long Ruoxue looked at her opponent, Fu Mingyuan, one of the 3 great geniuses of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, whose strength was on par with Feng Aoran's. He was an advanced spiritual monarch and one of her brother's few friends. Unfortunately, because of Fu Mingzhu, they would never become friends. Chapter 80. Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 1. After you. Fu Mingyuan said. As a man, he should be gracious to women. Then I won't hold back. Of course, she didn't need to use her full strength against Fu Mingyuan. What she valued more was combat experience, and fighting against people and spirit beasts was totally different. Long Ruoxue raised her sword and lightly swung it. A sharp white sword beam flew toward Fu Mingyuan. The sword beam was extremely fast, and its momentum was majestic, causing the pressure on him to double. Fu Mingyuan was shocked and didn't dodge in time. A cut appeared on his arm. He didn't expect this sword beam to be so fierce. If spiritual power had been infused into this sword beam, his arm would have probably been crippled. At this point, he couldn't help but be on full alert. Now, he already listed Long Ruoxue as his most dangerous opponent, and this aroused his intense fighting spirit. Fu Mingyuan was good at using sabers, and the saber in his hand was considered a family heirloom of the Fu family. The saber was light and sharp, not very wide, and the handle was about the length of 2 adult palms. With the hand holding his saber, Fu Mingyuan lightly raised his wrist and unleashed a saber technique to shoot powerful water attribute spiritual power at Long Ruoxue. Long Ruoxue raised her sword and gently blocked it. An enormous amount of spiritual power neutralized Fu Mingyuan's spiritual power. Then she turned her hand and added some fire attribute spiritual power into her sword move. A dazzling red beam stabbed at Fu Mingyuan, who quickly dodged it. In this way, the 2 of them fought for dozens of rounds. Long Ruoxue was relaxed throughout, but Fu Mingyuan found it more and more strenuous to fight. I lost. Fu Mingyuan took the initiative to admit defeat. He knew very well that Long Ruoxue hadn't used her full strength. Afterward, the remaining 4 people on the stage also admitted defeat, and Long Ruoxue successfully entered the top 30. After entering the top 30, there was supposed to be a ranking competition according to the Academy's arrangement, but all 30 students, including Long Ruoxue, forfeited, so the ranking competition was cancelled. Chen Jian had no chance to do anything even if he wanted to. Lin Liang looked at the final result with satisfaction and was elated. This is great. As soon as the selection competition was over, the anxious Lin Liang dragged Long Ruoxue to the principal's office. Ruoxue, tell Grandpa Lin. How did you train them? Lin Liang asked curiously. From the moment these students returned, he could tell that they were different from before. They had more aggressiveness, and he already saw the imposing manner of powerhouses from them. This was something that the students in the academy didn't have. He didn't ask earlier because they had been competing, and he finally had the chance to ask now that the competition was over. Grandpa Lin, as long as you are willing to throw the students of the academy into the illusionary forest for a month, they will also have such strength and aggressiveness, Long Ruoxue teased. Lin Liang didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at Long Ruoxue. This stinky girl said that even though she knows I can't bear to do it. Ruoxue, how about Grandpa Lin hands those students over to you, and you can bring them to the illusionary forest? Lin Liang said cunningly. Hee, you will have to be responsible for their safety if you bring them. I don't want to be a nanny. Long Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Lin Liang as she cut off his thoughts with a few words. Grandpa Lin, I heard that the academy will have a training exercise in a few days? Long Ruoxue asked. Yes, the academy arranges a lot of training exercises at this time every year, Lin Liang explained. The people on the list should be going, right? Long Ruoxue asked. This was what she was more concerned about. Moreover, she had been waiting for an opportunity. She also heard from her grandfather that the Fu family had already obtained crystal honey, so Fu Ming's injury should have healed. Ruoxue, Grandpa Lin, I want everyone on the list to participate in this training exercise. Long Ruoxue said unquestionably. It's time to settle the score with those people. Okay, I will arrange it, Lin Liang said helplessly. While he didn't know how Ruoxue was going to take revenge on those people, he could guess that they were going to be in trouble. After the selection competition, Long Ruoxue gave the people from the Sacred Hall a 5-day break. After 5 days, they would set off for Lunar Capital, the capital of the Southern Dusk Empire, to participate in the Academy competition. Thus, Long Ruoxue had to finish what she wanted to do before leaving. Taking advantage of the dark and windy night, 2 humans and 2 beasts sneaked into a luxurious mansion. Quill, scout the way for us, Long Ruoxue ordered. Yes. Shuer, are we here on a date? Yi Qin's eyes were glittering as he asked with anticipation. Would you go to other people's houses for a date? Long Ruoxue glared at the freak and asked rhetorically. Then why are we here? Yi Qin asked innocently. His beautiful face was full of confusion, and his bright black eyes were as clear as water. Of course to do something bad since we're sneaking into someone's house in the middle of the night, Long Ruoxue said without blushing or skipping a beat. Does this damn freak need to be so cute? I really want to pinch him. Shuer, why are you pinching me? Yi Qin looked at Long Ruoxue aggrievedly, as though he was about to cry. Hee, after days of observation, I discovered that Shuer can't resist me when I act like this. So of course I have to do what she likes. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Long Ruoxue retracted her hand awkwardly. Why didn't my hands listen to me? They actually went on to that freakishly handsome face by themselves. But it felt really good, and his skin is very smooth. I know. You did it on purpose, Yi Qin said with certainty, his face full of pride. Shuer touched me of her own accord. Damn freak. Long Ruoxue's face darkened in embarrassment. Shuer, I will be yours sooner or later. You can touch me however you want, Yi Qin said very generously with a beaming smile. You, Charm, who had been lying in Long Ruoxue's arms, couldn't listen anymore. He simply covered his ears with his little paws. This person is really too mushy. Master, I found it. Quill, who went to scout the way, returned and resolved Long Ruoxue's embarrassment at the right time. Quill, lead the way. Master, come with me. Quill changed to the size of a small bird and flew in front, while Long Ruoxue and Yi Qin followed closely behind. Chapter 81. Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire. 2. The two humans and two beasts knocked out all the guards they encountered and came to a courtyard. Master, it's here. Bang. What's this? It tastes disgusting. Make another one. Miss. Before long, Ruoxue and the others approached the room. They heard the sound of things being smashed and Fu Mingzhu scolding a maidservant. Then the door opened, and the maidservant walked out. Lung Ruoxue and the others quickly hid in the dark. After the maidservant walked away, Lung Ruoxue immediately pushed open the door of Fu Mingzhu's room and walked in while she set up a barrier at the same time. Why are you back so soon? It's you. Fu Mingzhu looked up only to see Lung Ruoxue. She glared at Lung Ruoxue with intense hatred and jealousy. Miss Fu, do you still remember me? Lung Ruoxue said indifferently as her beautiful eyes stared at Fu Mingzhu's beautiful face. It seems that the crystal honey was effective. There aren't any scars left at all. I'd remember you even if you turned to ashes. Fu Mingzhu said resentfully. She had always wanted to seek revenge on this simpleton, but now Lung Ruoxue actually came knocking on her door. Fu Mingzhu absolutely hated Lung Ruoxue, especially after knowing the latter's identity. The discrepancy in her heart was so great that she couldn't accept what happened at all, so it was even harder for her to tolerate Lung Ruoxue's existence. And that stinky fox actually dared to scratch her face. If not for her father trying his best to get her some crystal honey, her beautiful appearance would have been ruined. After I deal with Lung Ruoxue, I'll go deal with that damn fox. I didn't expect to leave such a deep impression on you, Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. Fu Mingzhu's hatred was written all over her face. Compared with Su Nair, she was far too naive. It was apparent from this that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. The more delicate a woman looked, the more inconspicuously malicious she would be. Of course. Fu Mingzhu gritted her teeth hatefully. And you actually have the audacity to come to my house. Fu Mingzhu smiled sinisterly as a hint of cunning flashed in her eyes. Since you're here, don't even think about going back. Why not? Is your home a tiger's den? Why can't I come? Lung Ruoxue's face was full of confusion. Yes, of course you can come, but you're going to regret it. At this point, Fu Mingzhu was too busy thinking about how she would take revenge that she never thought about how Lung Ruoxue had gotten in and why she was here. That's good. Lung Ruoxue seemed to be relieved. Guards! There's an assassin! Fu Mingzhu suddenly shouted. Lung Ruoxue was speechless. Fu Mingzhu is so slow-witted. Only now do you realize that you need help. What a disappointing reaction. Take a break. Don't tire yourself out. Lung Ruoxue felt that she was too considerate. You're dead meat. The guards will be here soon, Fu Mingzhu said smugly. Is that so? Shall we see if you're going to die first, or am I going to die first? Lung Ruoxue teased her like a cat chasing a mouse. Why you? Do you even dare to touch me? My father won't let you off, Fu Mingzhu threatened. I really want to try, but it wouldn't be my style if I let you die too easily. Killing the enemy directly was simple, but it was not easy to make the enemy suffer and wish they were dead. She preferred to strike her opponents mentally. What do you want? Fu Mingzhu suddenly felt a little scared. Why aren't they here yet? It's been so long. Don't be scared. I won't kill you, Lung Ruoxue coaxed. I just want to. Lung Ruoxue took out a pill, quickly forced Fu Mingzhu's mouth open, and threw the pill inside. What did you feed me? Fu Mingzhu was shocked. She hurriedly tried to use her fingers to dig out the pill from her throat, but it had dissolved as soon as it entered her mouth. Of course, it's something good for your body. She had specially concocted this pill for Fu Mingzhu, and it had taken her a lot of effort to find the pill formula. Really? Although Fu Mingzhu had doubts, her glare gradually died down. Yes, of course, Lung Ruoxue promised. The academy has a training exercise tomorrow. Go early and don't be late, Lung Ruoxue reminded. Okay, they'll be there early, Fu Mingzhu answered obediently as her eyes became gentler and gentler. Good. Go to bed now, Lung Ruoxue reminded her. Okay, they'll sleep now. Fu Mingzhu lay directly on her bed. Seems like the pill is effective. Lung Ruoxue pondered and left the room. Xue, are you done? Yichen quietly asked when he saw Xue come out. Done. Then where are we going now? let's go home and sleep. Aren't you going to take a tour of the Prime Minister's mansion? Okay, let's take a look. With that, the two humans and two beasts began to tour the Prime Minister's mansion like it were their own backyard. Tisk, TSK. A Prime Minister is actually so rich. Look at the furnishings. How much money has he embezzled? Yichen commented as he walked. The 5 great families are probably just like this. I've decided, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. What have you decided? Yichen looked at Shuer doubtfully. I've decided to seek revenge for the people and rob him. It would be a waste not to rob such a corrupt official. Yes, I like robbing, Yichen said excitedly. Robbing was his most enjoyable pastime. Quill, go and find where the Fu family's treasury is. Quill's eagle eyes were much better than radar, and he could even see farther. Master, come with me, Quill said helplessly. After he advanced to Divine Beast, he had obtained the skill, X-ray vision, but his master only used it to look for things. Woo! Master, don't you think it's overkill? Quill led them to an inconspicuous room. Master, this is the treasury. Are you sure? Why does this room look like a servant's room? Quill nodded. He was certain of it. It's locked. An artificer should have refined this lock, and it couldn't be opened without the password. They'll do it. Yichen took out a thin metal wire from who knows where and poked it into the lock a few times. With a pop, the lock opened. Chapter 82. Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 3. This freak actually has this ability. Lung Ruoxue stared at him in astonishment for a few seconds. Shuer, they'll get shy if you keep looking at me like that. Yichen's heart was racing as he reminded her. Let's go in. Lung Ruoxue looked away awkwardly. After entering, they discovered that even though the outside of the treasury was inconspicuous, it was a whole different world inside. It seemed that this Prime Minister Fu was quite good at hiding things. There were 3 rooms in the treasury. Lung Ruoxue, Yichen, and Charm split up, and each of them was responsible for looting one room. After looting everything, they quickly left the treasury. Shuer, Prime Minister Fu's study should be in front, right? Yichen guessed that they were already in the main courtyard. Probably. The main courtyard isn't guarded? Yichen was surprised. Not in the open, but in the dark. Quill and Charm already knocked them out, Lung Ruoxue explained. Oh, in the study, Prime Minister Fu said to a man in black gloomily, Sir, no one in the Supreme Hall made it to the top 30 through the Heavenly Phoenix Academy selection competition. This has completely messed up our plan. It's okay. Even if they've been selected, they might not have the chance to participate in this competition, the man in black said nonchalantly. Sir, you mean, you don't have to worry about this matter. Just do your part well, the man in black said coldly. Yes. Sir, Lung Ruoxue is General Lung's most beloved granddaughter. Do you think? What's the big deal about General Lung? He's only a person, no matter how powerful he is. How can our patriarch be afraid of him? It's only a matter of time before we deal with him, the black-clothed person said confidently. Damn it. Not only do they want to deal with me, but they also wanted to deal with Grandpa. Fortunately, they came to the right study. Otherwise, she wouldn't have known that people were scheming against her and her family. At this point, Lung Ruoxue, who was hiding in the dark, had a flash of killing intent in her beautiful eyes. Shuer, let's leave first and discuss further, Yichen reminded her. Lung Ruoxue nodded. They jumped onto Quill's back and disappeared into the night. After talking to Prime Minister Fu, the man in black left the Prime Minister's mansion. Who are you? The man in black vigilantly asked the 2 humans and 2 beasts who suddenly appeared in front of him. He couldn't sense their strength at all. You'll know when you reach hell. A cold voice reached the black-robed man's ears. Aha! A scream resounded in the darkness. Misty Woods, the territory of fire rhinoceroses, will they come? Yichen asked curiously while looking at Lung Ruoxue. He and Shuer were here very early to wait for them. Well, no later. Before coming, she had instructed Quill to drug the team. The drug could cause hallucinations. After the previous incident, she knew that they would definitely want to avoid the fire rhinoceroses' territory, but she wanted them to come to her door on their own accord. Moreover, She had sprinkled another drug on the road to the fire rhinoceros's territory. The two drugs happened to work together and attracted each other, so they had no choice but to come. Lung Ruoxue and Yi Chun waited in the fire rhinoceros's territory for a while before the people caught in the trap arrived. When they arrived at the fire rhinoceros's territory, the drug that Lung Ruoxue administered to them just happened to become effective. "Why are you here, simpleton?" Fu Mingzhu questioned Lung Ruoxue, her eyes full of hatred. "Why can't I be here?" Lung Ruoxue asked back. It was time for the effects of Fu Mingzhu's drug to wear off, and she had completely forgotten what happened last night. "Then there's only the two of you here?" "Humph, a man and a woman alone. How shameless," Fu Mingzhu said disdainfully. Obviously, she had forgotten how she had chased after this man back then. "Isn't there still you guys? There are many spirit beasts here as well," Lung Ruoxue said with a spurious smile. "Where is this?" At this moment, the expression of one of the teachers leading the team changed. "Didn't we deliberately avoid the fire rhinoceros's territory? Why did we come here again? What's the matter?" Elder Wang asked in puzzlement. "This is the territory of the fire rhinoceroses. Are you sure?" Elder Wang asked. Fire rhinoceroses were very barbaric spirit beasts that even spiritual supremacies were unwilling to provoke. "Yes, it was this place the last time," a teacher whispered. "Leave this place quickly," Elder Wang said decisively. Spirit beasts were all very vengeful. "Everyone, leave this place immediately," one of the teachers shouted. "Leave? It's too late," Lung Ruoxue said lightly. "Lung Ruoxue, what do you mean?" Elder Wang asked calmly. "Elder Wang, haven't you noticed that this place has already been surrounded by fire rhinoceroses?" As Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, the fire rhinoceros king led its subordinates swaggering out from behind the trees. "It's her. She was the one who stole our fire rhinoceros fruits." The fire rhinoceros king pointed at Fu Mingzhu. It was this damn woman who attracted the jinx to them, so he really hated this woman to death. "So it was really you," Lung Ruoxue said coldly. In fact, she had guessed long ago that Fu Mingzhu might be the one who stole the fire rhinoceros fruits and provoked the fire rhinoceroses. Probably no one else had the capability to bribe everyone to give the same false testimony. "Me? I didn't," Fu Mingzhu denied guiltily. She would never admit it, even if she died. "It doesn't matter whether you admit it or not. What's important is that none of you can leave this place today," Lung Ruoxue said with bloodlust, her eyes full of killing intent. "What do you want to do?" Elder Wang pretended to be calm. "To avenge my elder brother, of course." "You. Don't be rash. If the Academy gets wind of this, it won't let you off," Elder Wang threatened. He didn't know why these fire rhinoceroses listened to Lung Ruoxue, but he could only use the Academy to pressure her now. "Dead people can't talk," Lung Ruoxue said lightly. "Who's going to tell me why you falsely accused my brother?" Lung Ruoxue looked at the students who were trembling in fear. Chapter 83. Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 4. "What? Is no one willing to clear my doubts?" Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes looked at everyone present. "Can you let me go if I tell you?" "I was forced as well," Emoli said timidly. "You don't have the qualifications to negotiate with me," Lung Ruoxue said disdainfully. "Let me guess. After Fu Mingzhu angered the fire rhinoceroses, you encountered my brother while running for your lives. My brother saved you but was seriously injured himself. But a certain culprit was afraid that General Long would know the truth and asked you to provide false testimony. This way, even though he was livid, there was nothing he could do because it was his grandson who caused the trouble and it wasn't your fault, right?" Lung Ruoxue roughly said what she had guessed. Afterward, Chen Jian used this incident as a tool to attack Principal Lin, and my brother became the target of ridicule, Lung Ruoxue added. "You're right. Prime Minister Fu forced us to say it this way," one of the teachers said. "What did he say to you?" Lung Ruoxue asked. "He said that we wouldn't be able to escape the blame of the Academy's #1 genius becoming a cripple. General Long and the principal wouldn't let us go, so we had to push the blame onto Lung Ruhan. He also said that he would settle the other things. We didn't want to agree at first, but he used our families to threaten us. In fact, He was the one who was most afraid that General Lung and the principal would find trouble, the teacher said. Seeing as you're telling the truth, he'll let you die a quick death. With that, Long Ruoxue released her spiritual power, and the teacher collapsed onto the ground, dead. Are you resentful? Resent Fu Mingzhu if you must. She's the one who harmed you, Long Ruoxue said coldly to the group of terrified students. Wait, I'm Elder Wang. I didn't participate in what happened that time. Can you let me go? Elder Wang begged without any backbone. What do you think? You must have participated in my brother's downfall. Long Ruoxue smiled mockingly. If he wasn't Chen Jian's subordinate, he wouldn't have been sent to lead the team today. Fire Rhinoceros King. Your chance to atone for your mistakes has arrived. Perform well. Long Ruoxue couldn't be bothered with them and glanced at the Fire Rhinoceros King. Attack! The Fire Rhinoceros King ordered. His subordinates swarmed forward. Elder Wang and the others didn't even have the strength to fight back before they were drowned by nearly 10,000 fire rhinoceroses. Long Ruoxue glanced at the fire rhinoceroses that were tearing through the forest like a hot knife through butter. Then she threw a pill to the Fire Rhinoceros King before leaving the forest with Yuchun. General Lung's mansion, listening Snow Pavilion Schwer, you will be going to Lunar Capital in a few days. Grandpa prepared these things for you. Take them with you. Long Qingtian said worriedly as he handed his granddaughter a ring. Grandpa, I don't lack anything. You didn't need to prepare anything, Long Ruoxue said helplessly as she looked at the things in the ring. Why did Grandpa prepare so much food? Bring them along with you. The journey is quite far. Long Qingtian said. Phoenix City was quite a distance away from Lunar Capital, and the journey was not very smooth. There were many sections that were very remote, and there was no place to stay at all, much less food. Okay. Long Ruoxue didn't want her grandfather to worry since it was a token of his concern. Miss, the academy sent someone over. The principal is looking for you, Fengde said directly as he walked in. Grandpa, I'm going. Get going. After arriving at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Long Ruoxue went straight to the principal's office. Grandpa Lin, what's the matter? Long Ruoxue asked. Ruoxue, do you know that the students and Elder Wang who went out for training that day haven't returned yet? Lin Liang probed. Yes, I've heard. Grandpa Lin, the forest has always been full of dangers. Isn't it common for teams that go for training to meet some powerful spirit beast and be completely wiped out? There's no need to worry so much. Long Ruoxue comforted. That's true, Lin Liang said helplessly. This girl is actually playing dumb with me. Ruoxue, I called you here for something important. What? You must get first place in this year's academy competition, Lin Liang said very seriously. Is there something special about this academy competition? Long Ruoxue guessed. Yes. Have you heard of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm? Lin Liang asked mysteriously. No. The Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm is a naturally formed treasure land. There are countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures, holy beasts, and divine beasts in it. It only appears once every 1,000 years, and only 200 people are allowed to enter each time. The origin of the Academy competition is to fight for the spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. The Academy competition has been continuing even though the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm opens only once every 1,000 years. It happens to be the 1,000th year this year, so this year's competition is critical. You can obtain 50 spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm if you obtain first place, Lin Liang explained. 50 spots? Sounds very attractive, Long Ruoxue said without much interest. She had the Heaven and Earth bracelet, so this Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm wasn't very attractive to her. Of course it's attractive. Do you know how many spiritual supremacies want to obtain a spot? There are many divine beasts inside. If you can contract one, you will be able to do whatever you want on the Lingfeng continent. It is said that there are also precious medicinal herbs and heavenly materials inside that can help people advance to spiritual deity, Lin Liang said with yearning. Once in 1,000 years, but not everyone had such an opportunity. One Grandpa Lin, what benefits will we get if we can come first in this academy competition? Long Ruoxue asked. She didn't want to give others the chance to benefit. She had always been selfish, so of course she had to benefit herself. If you can obtain first place, Then all of the participating students will automatically obtain the qualifications to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, Lin Liang said. He knew what this girl was thinking, so he explained it to her in advance so that she could have peace of mind. What about the other spots? Lung Ruoxue asked. She didn't want the spots that she worked hard to obtain to benefit the people she hated. Chapter 84. Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 5. The Academy will distribute the other spots, Lin Liang said honestly. This was the tradition of the major academies. I want 10 of the remaining spots. The rest can be given to the Academy, Lung Ruoxue said. She had to state her conditions first so that there would not be any disputes later. Okay, I agree, Lin Liang said helplessly. He knew that she would definitely not try her best if he didn't agree. This girl was not Ruhan. She had no sense of belonging to the Academy. I will arrange for Elder Chiu to accompany you this time. Thank you, Grandpa Lin. She quite liked Elder Chiu. After talking with Grandpa Lin, Lung Ruoxue returned to the general's mansion without delay. Shuer, what did old man Lin want you for? Lung Qingtian asked hurriedly when he saw his granddaughter return. Nothing. Grandpa, have you heard of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm? Lung Ruoxue asked. Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm? Is that mystic realm is about to appear again? Lung Qingtian said with a face full of shock. Practically all powerhouses like them knew the legend of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, but very few could wait until then. Moreover, the spots to enter the mystic realm had always been in the hands of the major academies, and it was impossible for outsiders to obtain them. Yes, Grandpa Lin told me to get first place at all costs because first will obtain 50 spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, Lung Ruoxue explained. Want the competition this time be very intense then? Shuer, you have to be careful. The Lunar Shadow Academy is capable of all sorts of despicable things. The venue for the competition this time is at the Lunar Shadow Academy. I'm sure they will do everything to win, Lung Qingtian said worriedly. Grandpa, don't worry. They'll be careful, Lung Ruoxue comforted. Grandpa, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to see Big Brother. Go on. When Lung Ruoxue arrived at the cold tea pavilion, she happened to see her brother packing. Big Brother, what are you doing? Lung Ruoxue watched curiously as her brother busied himself while the white tiger couple lay on the ground, acting lovey-dovey. Packing? Why are you packing? Where's Ming and... We will be leaving Phoenix City tomorrow. Of course, we have to pack, Lung Ruhan said matter-of-factly. Big Brother, don't tell me you want to go to Lunar Capital with me? Yes, I want to go with you. I won't feel at ease if you go alone, Lung Ruhan said. He knew that Shuer had the Heaven and Earth bracelet, so he wanted to go with her. Did you tell Grandpa? Lung Ruoxue asked. Grandpa probably won't agree. Not yet. Don't worry. Grandpa will definitely let me go. I can stay in your space with the entire White Tiger family. Lung Ruhan had planned it all out long ago. Okay, then Big Brother will go with Shuer. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. She knew that she couldn't stop her brother, but she could still ensure his safety. Okay. He felt relieved after he got past Shuer. Big Brother, I won't disturb you packing. Then Lung Ruoxue returned to her room. Shuer, since Ruhan is going to Lunar Capital with you, Grandpa thought about it and decided to go with you too, Lung Qingtian said straightforwardly after coming to the Listening Snow Pavilion. Alas, he was worried about his grandson and granddaughter. Lung Ruoxue was at a loss for words. Why is Grandpa joining in the fun too? Let's go together then. Just treat it as a family outing. Mississippi. Lu Tao and Cui Zhu looked at their young miss pitifully after hearing this. Let's go together, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. On the day of departure, everyone gathered at the entrance of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy early. When Lin Liang saw Lung Qingtian, his eyes almost popped out. Old Lung, what are you doing here? To protect my grandson and granddaughter, of course, Lung Qingtian said proudly. Ruhan was smart enough to think of going with Shuer. Then I want to protect the students of our academy, so can I go too? Lin Liang said with widened eyes. You can't. You're the principal, so you have to stay and oversee the academy, Lung Qingtian said with a smirk. Aren't you still a great general? Lin Liang said angrily through gritted teeth. I've already arranged it. Lung Qingtian smiled. Damn old man. What are you so smug for? Lin Liang roared. Principal, General Long. Many people are watching. Elder Chiu dissuaded somewhat helplessly. How embarrassing. Elder Chiu, please take care of me on the way. Lung Qingtian said very politely. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. Please take care of me, General Long. Sweat dripped down Elder Chiu's forehead. The trip would be much safer with such a powerful bodyguard. Miss, we've accepted all the missions, Fengda said as he walked to Long Ruoxu's side. Okay, Grandpa, Elder Chiu, let's go. Long Ruoxu nodded. In this way, a group of more than 30 people left Phoenix City under Lin Liang's resentful gaze. Half a month later, they entered a small city on the border of the Southern Dusk Empire. Miss, I'm going to the Mercenary Union to submit the missions, Fengda said. His young lady had asked him to go to the Mercenary Union to accept some missions that were along the way before they set off. So every time they arrived at a new city, he would first submit the completed missions and then take on some new missions that they could do on the road. Go. We'll wait for you in this inn. Grandpa, Elder Chiu, let's sit here. Lung Ruoxue found a seat by the window in the dining hall and sat down. The others also found seats and ordered food. Ruoxue, Brother Feng, Brother Yi, Brother Mu, what a coincidence. Ju Ri hurriedly came forward to greet Long Ruoxue and the others when he saw them. Big Brother Ju. Long Ruoxue didn't expect to see Ju Ri in such a small place. The others who knew Ju Ri also greeted him. Grandpa, Elder Chiu, he is the young master of the Hurricane Mercenary Group. He was the one who told me the news about Big Brother's injury, Lung Ruoxue explained. Chapter 85. Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire. 6. Thank you, young Master Ju. You're too polite, General Long. This junior has heard a lot about you, Ju Ri said quickly. Big Brother Ju, do you have a mission? Lung Ruoxue saw them escorting a carriage pulled by a spirit horse. Yes, we just returned from Western Light, Ju Ri explained. Big Brother Ju, we still have to travel tomorrow, so we'll go back to our rooms to rest first, Lung Ruoxue said directly after they chatted for a while and saw that everyone was almost done eating. Okay, I won't bother you then. Lin Yuan, stay here and wait for Fengda. The others can go back to their rooms to rest. Lung Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Mississippi. After going to her room, Lung Ruoxue was about to rest early when she heard someone knocking on the door. Why are you here? Lung Ruoxue opened the door and saw the freak standing there. Shuer, why did you return to your room so early? I want to continue chatting with Shuer. I'm tired, so I want to rest early, Lung Ruoxue said. Then rest early. Shuer looks exhausted. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded. The next day, Lung Ruoxue and the others were preparing to set off just as dawn was breaking. But they unexpectedly encountered Ju Ri outside the inn. Ruoxue, what a coincidence. Are you going to Lunar Capital for the competition? Why don't we go together so that we can take care of each other on the road? Ju Ri said with a smile. Big Brother Ju, we're not going to Lunar Capital for the time being, so it's really not on the way, Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. She wanted to take a different route. Moreover, she had already found out that the person in the carriage was a princess, and she was the most beloved princess of the Emperor of the Southern Dusk Empire. She had always been indifferent to princesses. Besides, it would absolutely be a big burden on the road if there was such a pampered princess with them. Yes, Brother Ju. We have other things to do, and won't be going to Lunar Capital for the time being, Feng Moran said. He knew that Shuer didn't want to go with them, so of course he had to cooperate with her. All right. They'll see you in Lunar Capital then, Ju Ri said with some disappointment. Ruoxue, why didn't we go with them? Feng Aoran asked in puzzlement. Troublesome. Let's go the other way, Lung Ruoxue said. Ruoxue, the other route is very difficult to traverse, Elder Chiu reminded her. Elder Chiu, we didn't take many easy roads along the way either, Lung Ruoxue said. Her main goal was to let them experience the world. If they were here to enjoy life, Quill could have just flown them all the way. That mountain is called the Thousand Cry Mountain. It's the tallest and most dangerous mountain within the borders of Southern Dusk. We have to cross the Thousand Cry Mountain for a road leading to Lunar Capital, Lung Qingtian explained while looking at the mountain not far away. Is everyone ready? Yes. Let's go, Lung Ruashua ordered. They walked into the Thousand Cry Mountain and realized how tall and steep it was when they entered it. The mountain ridges rose and fell continuously, and what they saw from the outside was only the tip of the iceberg. Moreover, they felt so insignificant between the tall ridges. Lung Ruashua and the others walked for almost a day before they crossed the peak of one mountain. Big brother, why don't you stay in the heaven and earth bracelet? Lung Ruashua whispered, afraid that her brother would be too tired. Schwer, are you looking down on me? It's just a mountain. Lung Ruhan said with some displeasure. Schwer, we have to find a place to camp. Yichen looked at the sky. Okay, let's camp here. Lung Ruashua said directly, seeing that this place was spacious and level. She knew that everyone was a little tired as well. Why didn't we take an easier road? How long do we have to keep going? A sharp female voice suddenly sounded, attracting everyone's attention. Do you have a problem with this? Lung Ruaksha's beautiful eyes were as calm as water as she looked at Song Min, the only other girl in the group. Of course I have a problem, Song Min said with some envy. She was a talented artificer, born to be respected by everyone, but she didn't receive any preferential treatment at all with these people. She had been ignored all along the way, and staying on a barren mountain finally made her, who had always been proud, explode in anger. Do you not want to stay here anymore? Lung Ruashua said coldly. Other than the people from the Sacred Hall, the other 3 divisions each sent a representative with them. Song Min was the representative sent by the Artificer Division, and she had always felt superior. She had complained a lot along the way, but Lung Ruashua didn't do anything for the sake of Elder Chio. This female prodigy probably couldn't take it anymore now. No one wants to stay in such a godforsaken place. Song Min hollered. Oh, is there anyone else who doesn't want to stay here? Tell me now, and I'll send you down the mountain, Lung Ruashua said indifferently. Her team didn't need spoiled young masters and ladies. Song Min, stop making a fuss. The principal said that we have to listen to Ruaksha's arrangements on the journey. Elder Chio roared angrily. Based on what? I'm an artificer, Song Min said indignantly. What's so great about a mere artificer like you? Feng De mocked disdainfully. That's right. You are merely an artificer. Look at how smug you are. Lin Yuan echoed. His young lady was also an artificer. Why you? Song Min was so angry that her entire body was trembling. These uncouth people actually dared to humiliate a noble artificer. Humph, I won't let them go. Song Min, shut up. Stop making a fuss. Elder Chio roared again. How can this Song Min be so troublesome? She really has poor judgment. Alas, Elder Chio, you don't have to persuade me. I'll send her down the mountain, Lung Ruashua said impatiently. Are you 2 going to descend the mountain with her? Lung Ruashua asked the 2 students from the Alchemist and Beast Trainer divisions. No, the 2 of them said in unison, although they were also full of complaints when they first set off with Lung Ruashua and the others. They were really convinced after getting along for the past few days. Moreover, they gradually began to worship Lung Ruashua as an idol like the spiritualists. Chapter 86. Another encounter with Ju Ri 1. Very good. Lung Ruashua was very satisfied with their answer. Quill, send her to Lunar Capital. Lung Ruashua summoned Quill. Yes, master. Quill threw Song Min roughly onto his back and flew toward Lunar Capital. Miss, don't be angry with that kind of person, Feng De comforted. The young lady was the god in their hearts. How could that kind of woman be so delusional as to compare herself with the young lady? She was really overestimating herself. How am I angry? Lung Ruashua asked. Miss isn't angry. Feng De quickly corrected himself. Schwer, there's a city after crossing this mountain, Lung Qingtian said. As a general of a country, he was very familiar with the topography of the various countries. Although this Thousand Cry Mountain wasn't easy to navigate through, dangers also meant opportunities. Grandpa, you and Big Brother should enter the Heaven and Earth Bracelet to rest tonight, Lung Ruashua said thoughtfully. It was very cold on the mountain, so she was worried about her brother's health. There's no need. Grandpa isn't that useless. Lung Qingtian said. It had been much more arduous when he led troops into battle. Fengde, grill this for everyone. Lung Ruoxue took out the meat of the water python that she killed in the misty woods. We have meat to eat only by following Miss. Fengde said happily. They had not eaten python meat for a long time and were missing it. 2 hours later, Quill returned. Big brother Quill, thanks for the hard work. Come, have some meat. Fengde handed him a piece of grilled meat in an ingratiating manner. Thank you. Quill unceremoniously began munching on the meat after transforming into a small bird. Ruoxue, what level of holy beast is your eagle? He's so fast. Elder Chio said with envy. It was precisely because he knew that Ruoxue had such an eagle that he was in no hurry to rush along the way. Elder Chio, Quill isn't a holy beast. Lung Ruoxue caressed Quill's soft feathers. Not a holy beast? Then what is he? He can't be a divine beast. Elder Chio joked with a smile. Quill is a divine beast, Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. The food in Elder Chio's hand fell to the ground. His eyes widened as he circled around Quill in disbelief, and there seemed to be suspicious liquid dripping from the corner of his mouth. He's actually a divine beast. Elder Chio murmured to himself. His eyes lit up as he stared hard at Quill. No wonder he couldn't tell the level of this eagle. It turned out that this eagle was stronger than him. Woo! I suddenly feel so inferior. Old Chio, my condolences. Lung Qingtian comforted him. Luck was not something to be envious about. While everyone was eating and chatting, a rustling sound came from the distance. What's that sound? Yichen asked cautiously. Master, it's fire ants. Charm listened carefully. What? Fire ants? How can there be fire ants here? Everyone was puzzled, but no one was afraid. This was all thanks to Lung Ruoxue, tormenting them during this period. Beloved master, fire ants are so annoying. Darling's face was full of disgust. Both humans and spirit beasts hated fire ants. Fire ants were also a type of spirit beasts, but they were very troublesome and destructive. The best way to deal with a group of fire ants was to run for your lives as soon as possible, or you would become food for the fire ants once they entangled you. An entire fire ant colony was led by a fire ant king, and the fire ants in the colony were only at elementary and intermediate spirit beasts except for the fire ant king. They had yet to develop intelligence and only knew how to eat, and anything could become their food. Do any of you want a contract with the fire ant king? Lung Ruoxue asked everyone while caressing Darling's soft fur comfortably. Everyone was flabbergasted. Miss, who would want to contract such a disgusting thing? Lin Yuan was so disgusted that his hair stood on end. You have to think carefully. Contracting a fire ant king is equivalent to owning a fire ant army. Lung Ruoxue reminded them out of goodwill. See, can I contract it? Whispered Lu Yin, the student of the alchemist division. Although he was an alchemist, his level as a spiritualist was very low. His ability to protect himself would improve dramatically with a fire ant colony. Sure. Lung Ruoxue looked at the delicate and pretty Lu Yin and had a good impression of this student. As they were discussing, a dense swarm of fire ants had already surrounded them. Crack, crack. Lung Ruoxue's scalp was tingling as she looked at the red ants that were half the height of a human and had pincers raised high with sharp fangs. No wonder even level 9 holy beasts are unwilling to provoke these guys. They are indeed annoying. But where is the fire ant king? All of you, step back, Lung Ruoxue reminded. Get onto my back, Quill said as he suddenly enlarged in the air. Everyone climbed onto Quill's back to prevent Lung Ruoxue from being distracted. Shuer, you have to be careful, Lung Ruhan shouted worriedly. Shuer, Grandpa will help you. Lung Qingtian stood beside his granddaughter. How could he let his precious granddaughter fight alone? And me. Yichen stood on Lung Ruoxue's other side. You'll take on the fire ant king when it comes out, Lung Ruoxue said to Yichen. All right, leave that big ant to me. Grandpa, let's begin. Okay, these old bones of mine haven't exercised for a long time, Lung Qingtian said as he rubbed his palms together. Lung Ruoxue rushed into the ant colony with her sharp sword in hand. She used the meteor sword technique's blazing tree silver flower, and countless sparks shot toward the fire ant colony like stars. A third of the fire ants instantly died, and countless were injured. Long Qingtian didn't want to be outdone. He unleashed his most powerful fire element, heavenly spiritual skill, Blazing Flame Blaze Era. A sky full of flames charged at the fire ant colony, and another third of them instantly died. Amazing! The people standing on Quill's back stared at the one-sided battle with their mouths agape. This was the first time many people saw Long Ruoxue fight apart from the earlier selection competition. With the addition of the heroic, invincible, and famous General Long, it was conceivable how shocking this battle led by the grandfather and granddaughter combination was to them. Chapter 87. Another encounter with Ju Ri 2. How dare you kill my children? The Fire Ant King finally showed up after almost half of the fire ants died. Finally came out. Long Ruoxue stopped attacking and looked at the Fire Ant King with her beautiful eyes. Why do these kings like to cower and fear so much? Can't they just come out openly? Why are they so shy? The Fire Ant King was more than twice the height of ordinary fire ants. Its whole body was as bright as burning flames, and it had 2 large pincers raised high. It was a level 5 holy beast, and it would definitely be as strong as a level 9 holy beast with its ability to control its fire ant colony. So many good assistants. Not bad. She was very satisfied. Seeing the Fire Ant King emerge, Long Qingtian also stopped. The grandfather and granddaughter stood aside tacitly and gave the battlefield to Yi Chen. Big Ant, come here, Yi Chen said softly like the big bad wolf luring Little Red Riding Hood. Damn humans. I won't let you go. The Fire Ant King roared furiously and charged at Yi Chen. Yi Chen clenched his fist and punched the Fire Ant King on the head. With a loud bang, the Fire Ant King was overturned, and its feet were upside down in the air. Due to its size, it couldn't turn over no matter how hard it tried, and all it could do was keep kicking its legs. Human, you are too despicable. I won't let you go. The Fire Ant King roared in grief and indignation. You are bullying ants. Woo-woo. Damn humans. Is this possible? Cold sweat dripped down everyone's forehead. Long Ruoxue glanced at the fire ant colony, which were so scared that they wanted to burrow into the ground. She walked to the Fire Ant King and knocked his fiery red body. Not bad, pretty sturdy. Long Ruoxue praised. Fire Ant King, shall we discuss something? Long Ruoxue asked extremely kindly. What? Humans, you are too despicable. The Fire Ant King roared indignantly. Aren't you the despicable one? There are only so few of us, but look at how many ants there are among you. Long Ruoxue pointed at the ants that hadn't died yet. The Fire Ant King was speechless. It seemed that it had more on its side. Fire Ant King, I will spare your lives as long as you agree to be his spirit beast. What do you think? Long Ruoxue pointed at Lu Yin. I don't want to be the spirit beast of a weak human, the Fire Ant King said disdainfully. It had its pride even though it was only an ant. Then die. Long Ruoxue said indifferently. An immense amount of fire attribute spiritual power was released from her fingertips and hit the Fire Ant King. It was just an ant, so no big deal. And no, I don't want to die. I agree to be a spirit beast, the Fire Ant King said without a spine. Woo, it hurts. How can this human kill me just like that? Too scary. You should have known better. Long Ruoxue said discontentedly as she tamed the Fire Ant King. Lu Yin, come down and contract with it, Long Ruoxue said to Lu Yin. Thank you, Lu Yin said to Long Ruoxue gratefully after establishing the master-slave contract with the Fire Ant King. I, Lu Yin, am willing to acknowledge Long Ruoxue as my master. I will always be loyal and will never betray you, Lu Yin said suddenly. Then the contract array descended to establish the contract. You're not bad. You definitely have a bright future following our young lady. Feng De patted Lu Yan's shoulder. He liked this smart little fellow. You didn't need to do this, Long Ruoxue said lightly. She only did things according to her mood and never expected to get anything in return. I did it willingly, Lu Yin said. He hadn't spent much time with them, but he liked the atmosphere between them. He didn't know when it started, but he actually had the desire to become one of them. Everyone, rest early. We have to continue hiking tomorrow, Lung Ruashue said helplessly. Swear, let's not meddle too much in other people's affairs in the future. Otherwise, we'll have to bother with more people in the future, Yichin said with some displeasure. Lu Yin and the other students were the same. All of them wanted to follow Shuer. Even though they weren't a threat to him, he was still very displeased. I'm going to bed. Lung Ruashue rolled her eyes at him. Jealous men are unreasonable. 5 days later, Lung Ruashue and the others emerged from the Thousand Cry Mountain without any mishap. Everyone had a fruitful harvest, and their faces were full of happy smiles. Few dared to come to this Thousand Cry Mountain because of its reputation, so Lung Ruashue had gathered a lot of herbs and edible mountain treasures in this mountain. The others also had their own harvests. Shuer, Cloud City is just up ahead. Let's find an inn to freshen up, Lung Qingtian said. These children are as dirty as beggars. Okay. Lung Ruashue nodded. After entering Cloud City, they found an inn and stayed for only one night before setting off the next day. After leaving Cloud City, they walked for almost 2 days and arrived at Dark Mountain Town, the nearest town to Lunar Capital. Lung Ruashue and the others found a random inn, settled in, and went to the restaurant downstairs to eat. Ruashue, after we pass this Dark Mountain Town, we will reach Lunar Capital, Elder Chio said. This was the first time he had traveled for so long to participate in the Academy competition. Elder Chio, how many days until the Academy competition? Lung Ruashue asked. There are still 5 days. We will probably reach Lunar Capital in 2 days, Elder Chio said. Ruashue. Lung Ruashue suddenly heard someone calling her name. She turned her head and saw Ju Ri standing not far away, waving at her. Big Brother Ju, did you accept a new mission? Lung Ruashue asked doubtfully. We haven't even reached Lunar Capital yet, Ju Ri said helplessly. The princess they were protecting was really troublesome. Big Brother Ju, don't you have flying spirit beasts? Why are you using carriages? Lung Ruashue was a little puzzled. If they used flying spirit beasts, they would have arrived in Lunar Capital long ago. The princess is afraid of heights, so we can only use carriages, Ju Ri said somewhat gloomily. He had told his father not to accept this mission, but his father just wouldn't listen to him. In the end, that noble princess kept finding trouble along the way, and his mercenaries also had a lot of complaints. Chapter 88. Another encounter with Ju Ri. 3. Big Brother Ju, we're going back to our rooms to rest. We still have to travel tomorrow. Lung Ruashue looked at Ju Ri sympathetically. Elder Chio, let's go upstairs. Okay. Elder Chio looked at Ju Ri with some resentment. Why did we meet them again? So annoying. Early the next morning, Lung Ruashue and the others set off. Shuer, let's go quickly, Feng Moran said while on the road. Why are there so few people in Dark Mountain Town? Big Brother, are you tired? Lung Ruashue looked at her brother with some heartache. Her brother didn't have any spiritual power, so it was very tiring to walk so far, but he refused to take a carriage. Silly girl, I'm fine. Shuer's concern made Lung Ruhan happy. Let's camp here tonight, Yichin suggested after walking for nearly a day and seeing that it was getting late. Okay. Everyone quickly set up their tents, finished their meal, and left some guards before going to sleep. What's going on? Lung Ruashue walked out of her tent in the middle of the night when she heard some commotion. It's Ju Ri and his people. It's okay. Shuer, go back to sleep, Yichin said thoughtfully, but his eyes were shooting daggers at Ju Ri and the others. What's the matter? Lung Qingtian walked out of his tent. I'm really sorry for causing you trouble, Ju Ri said embarrassedly. He had been tormented badly by this willful princess all along the way. Big Brother Ju, why did you wake us up in the middle of the night? Lung Ruashue asked in a displeased tone. Ruashue, I'm so sorry for causing you trouble. Ju Ri helplessly told them what had happened. They had been staying happily in the inn, but for some reason, the princess insisted on traveling in the middle of the night. She wanted to set up camp on the way, but she actually wanted to set up camp here. How could they have any tents? So he had no choice but to come and borrow some. Big Brother Ju, I'm sorry, but the tents in our hands are just right, and we don't have any extra ones for you. I think you should hurry along, Lung Ruashua suggested. She had never had a good impression of capricious noble princesses and didn't want to get entangled with this one. Young Master Ju, we didn't prepare too many tints when we came out, but I can give you a tint, Lung Qingtian said politely and glared at his granddaughter. This girl is really too straightforward. It isn't Ju Ri's fault. Thank you, General Long. One is enough, Ju Ri said awkwardly. Young Master Ju, I'll let you use that tint. Lung Qingtian pointed at his own tint. Okay, thank you so much. Ju Ri was embarrassed to stay any longer after thanking them. Lass, why are you so direct? Lung Qingtian asked. I just want them to leave quickly, Lung Ruashua said. She really didn't like people from imperial families. Ah, this place is so dirty. What's this smell? It stinks. An unpleasant female voice sounded from the tent. Grandpa, did you hear that? Lung Ruashua said clearly. She knew that they shouldn't have meddled in other people's business. How could this pampered princess live in a tent? Grandpa, you don't have to be angry with this kind of woman. Yichen quickly comforted General Long when he saw that he was about to blow up. I'm not angry. I'm going to sleep, Long Qingtian said. Humph. Out of sight, out of mind. Princess, you're the one who insisted on staying in a tent even though there was an inn. If you were so choosy, stay outside with my brothers and feed the mosquitoes, Ju Ri said coldly and turned to leave the tent. He had had enough on the way. Ju Ri, you bastard. How dare you speak to me like that? The unruly princess roared angrily. Princess, calm down, calm down. The maidservant quickly comforted her. Look at his attitude. I am a princess. How dare he treat me like this? Imperial father even wants me to marry him. Humph, not a chance. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. Princess, it's getting late. Let's rest. We have to rush tomorrow. We can ask His Majesty to teach him a lesson when we return to the palace if you're really angry, another maidservant suggested. Okay, well go back and ask Imperial Father to vent my anger for me, the unruly princess said unreasonably. Send this to them. Lung Ruashua handed Yichen a few bottles of wine and then returned to her tent. My Schwer has a sharp tongue but a soft heart. Yichen was a little jealous, but he still walked over with the wine bottles. Here. Have some to warm yourself up. Yichen distributed the wine to the Hurricane Mercenary Group. Thank you, brother, Ju Ri said gratefully. Because they had left in a hurry, they didn't prepare anything for camping outside. You have to be careful when accepting missions in the future. You can't accept such a client even if they pay you more, Yichen said with emotion. Some things can't be helped. Your Blazing Flame Mercenary Group will also meet such clients in the future, Ju Ri reminded him. That's where you're wrong. Our Blazing Flame Mercenary Group will not accept such clients. If you want to entrust a request to us, you have to follow our rules, Yichen said indifferently. Is that possible? Ju Ri asked with uncertainty. Everything depends on the person. It mainly depends on whether you want to become the one who sets the rules or the one who follows the rules, Yichen said. He believed that Ju Ri was smart and would understand what he meant. Join us in our tents, Yichen said to the Hurricane Mercenary Group before leaving. Set the rules, follow the rules, Ju Ri murmured. He was the only one left by the fire. The next morning, Lung Ruashua emerged from her tent to see Ju Ri sitting alone by an extinguished fire in a daze. Big brother Ju, have you thought it through? Lung Ruashua said indifferently. She knew that the freak, Yichen, had talked to him for a while yesterday. Yes, I have, Ju Ri said. Ruashua, I'm so sorry for causing you trouble yesterday, Ju Ri said awkwardly. Chapter 89. Another encounter with Ju Ri 4. I just don't like people from imperial families, Lung Ruashua explained. Her tone wasn't too good yesterday. I don't like them either, Ju Ri agreed. People from imperial families were indeed annoying. Big brother Ju, if you don't want to be controlled by others, you have to become a powerhouse above everyone, Lung Ruashua reminded. Okay, I will work hard. How could Ju Ri not know what Ruashua was thinking? But it wasn't so easy to become a true powerhouse. Big brother Ju, where's the pill I gave you? Lung Ruashua asked. It's still here. I've been keeping it all this while, Ju Ri said. The spiritual energy in the pill was very abundant. It was obvious at a glance that it was no ordinary pill. Big Brother Jew, when you become a spiritual sovereign, that pill can help you break through to spiritual supremacy. Lung Ruoxue turned and left, leaving behind a dazed Ju Ri. When nearly everyone was awake, they divided the work to prepare breakfast. "Hey, go and get that commoner to wait on me," the snobbish princess ordered Ju Ri domineeringly. "Why is that damn woman more beautiful than me? There are so many handsome men surrounding her too." She felt pissed off just looking at the scene. "Princess, stop making a fuss. Hurry up and finish your breakfast so we can continue on our journey," Ju Ri said impatiently. "How dare you shout at me? Do you want to die?" The princess, who had always been able to do whatever she wanted, roared furiously. Ju Ri glared coldly at the princess and then left. "Ju Ri, how dare you? Xiao Wan, go and tell that commoner to come and serve me." Seeing Ju Ri leave, the princess was even angrier and directly ordered her maidservant bossily.
Yes.
The maidservant named Xiao Wan had no choice but to bite the bullet and walk toward Long Ruoxue and the others. "Miss, our princess invites you over," Xiao Wan whispered fearfully. "These people don't like they should be provoked, but why does the princess dislike them? Are you talking to me?" Long Ruoxue asked lightly while holding a grilled rabbit thigh in one hand. "Yes," Xiao Wan said fearfully. "Heavens, why do I feel that this young lady is more like a princess than our princess? I don't think your princess wants to invite me over," Long Ruoxue said softly. The princess spoke so loudly that they couldn't pretend not to hear her. Erm. Seeing the unfriendly gazes, Xiao Wan felt her legs go weak. "Scram," Yichen said coldly. Xiao Wan was so scared that she hurriedly ran back. Heavens, that man's expression just now was really too scary. "Princess, this servant." Xiao Wan knelt in front of the princess, her face full of fear. "Useless thing." The princess slapped Xiao Wan on the face and scolded her. "You lowly commoner. It's your honor that this princess is willing to let you serve me. How dare you not know how to appreciate favors?" The princess walked directly to Long Ruoxue and scolded her angrily. "Who are you calling a commoner?" Long Ruoxue narrowed her beautiful eyes, killing intent flashing in them. "You, of course." Wouldn't a commoner have no money to stay in an inn?" The princess said matter-of-factly. "Doesn't that mean you're worse than a commoner? Don't forget, you borrowed your tent from someone else." Long Ruoxue reminded her. "Exactly. Without our tent, the princess would have had to sleep out in the wild," Fengde said mockingly. How dare a princess be rude to our young lady? She must be tired of living. You lowly commoners, how dare you? I am a princess." The princess roared furiously as she looked at the mocking and unfriendly gazes. "Captain, do you want to go over and take a look? Those people aren't to be trifled with." A mercenary couldn't bear to watch any longer and whispered to Ju Ri. It would implicate their mercenary group if those people killed the princess in a fit of anger. "Ignore her," Ju Ri said coldly. He believed that Ruoxue would know her limits. "Fengde, throw her back," Lung Ruoxue ordered. This was the Southern Dusk Empire after all. Even if she wanted to kill this princess, she wouldn't do it now. "Yes, Mississippi." Fengde picked up the princess like he was picking up a chicken and threw her back into her carriage. He then wiped his hands on the curtain of the carriage in disdain and walked back. "Aha! Why you? I won't let you go. You're dead," the princess screamed, but she was completely ignored. "Schwer, pack up and go," Lung Qingtian said. If they hurried, they should reach Lunar Capital by tomorrow morning. "Okay, we'll get Quill to bring us there later," Lung Ruoxue said. "Captain, should we set off?" a mercenary asked. "Let's go," Ju Ri ordered after Long Ruoxue, and the others left on the flying spirit beast. 2 hours later, Quill descended in front of the city gates of Lunar Capital. "So this is Lunar Capital. It's about the same as our Phoenix City." Some students who had never been to Lunar Capital couldn't help but be a little disappointed when they saw the tall city walls. The Southern Dusk Empire was the wealthiest among the 5 great countries, but it didn't look much different from their Phoenix City. "It's called seeing with your own eyes," Long Qingtian said. The reason the Southern Dusk Empire was regarded as the wealthiest of the 5 countries was mainly that the Hua family, the head of the 5 great families, lived in lunar capital. But the money belonged to the Hua family and had nothing to do with the Southern Dusk Empire. "Grandpa, Elder Chiu, let's enter," Lung Ruoxue said. Okay. Everyone strode into the capital. Someone welcomed them as they entered the city gates. "You must be Elder Chiu." "I am Elder Yu from the Lunar Shadow Academy. I am in charge of receiving guests from the major academies." A tall and thin old man introduced himself. "Greetings, Elder Yu," Elder Chiu said politely. He knew many elders from the Lunar Shadow Academy, but this was the first time he had seen Elder Yu. "I have arranged accommodation for the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Please follow me," Elder Yu said sincerely. Everyone followed Elder Yu for a while and stopped when he suddenly stopped. Chapter 90. Another encounter with Ju Ri. 5. Elder Chiu. You will be staying in this Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. The entire 5th floor is for your academy. Elder Yu pointed at a 6-story luxurious restaurant. The Elegance Lagoon Pavilion was one of the best inns in Lunar Capital, with both meals and lodging. The 1st and 2nd floors were for the restaurant, and the 3rd to 6th floors were for lodging. The entire inn was said to be the most luxurious in terms of exterior and interior decoration. Moreover, Elegance Lagoon Pavilion was owned by the Hua family. "Thank you for your effort in making the arrangements, Elder Yu," Elder Chiu said gratefully. Everyone then entered the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. "Elder Chiu, how much does it cost to stay here for a day?" A student couldn't help asking curiously after they reached the 5th floor of the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. This place was really too luxurious. "It's enough for ordinary families to live for several years. We stay here for free, but we have to pay for our meals ourselves," Elder Chiu explained. Even though he had expected that the accommodations provided by the Lunar Shadow Academy wouldn't be too shabby, he didn't expect their lodging to be the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. Their academy was already considered very rich, but it would be a little unbearable to eat here continuously for a month. Moreover, he didn't bring that much money. What should I do? We can't stay here but eat outside, right? The entire Heavenly Phoenix Academy would be disgraced. "Feng Da, arrange rooms for them," Lung Ruoxue ordered. "Yes, Mississippi. Come with me," Feng Da said to everyone. "Elder Chiu, what's the matter?" Lung Ruoxue couldn't help asking when she saw Elder Chiu struggling. "I'm afraid we don't have enough money," Elder Chiu said awkwardly. "The Lunar Shadow Academy is really too despicable. They actually arranged for us to stay here. In fact, no matter which academy was the host, they would generally not arrange for the major academies to stay in such top-notch lodging." It was obvious that the Lunar Shadow Academy was up to no good and wanted to see the Heavenly Phoenix Academy become a joke. "Elder Chiu, is this worth you struggling over? We aren't the only academy staying here. If something like this happens to us, it will happen to the other academies as well." Lung Ruoxue smiled and comforted him. "Yes, in addition to our academy, there are also the Rising Dragon Academy, Landshine Academy, and Flying Bird Academy. Except for the Rising Dragon Academy, it's impossible for the other 2 academies to have meals here every day." Feng Moran also comforted him. He had already found out that a total of 4 academies were staying here when he arrived. "How can those academies compare to ours? Our academy is one of the 3 major academies on the Lingfeng continent. It would be very embarrassing if we stayed here and went out to eat," Elder Chiu said. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy couldn't lose its dignity. "Old man, why do you care so much about dignity?" "It doesn't matter where we eat," Long Qingtian said. "This isn't because of my own dignity. This is the dignity of the academy," Elder Chiu emphasized. "Grandpa, Elder Chiu, stop arguing. They'll pay," Lung Ruoxue said impatiently. These 2 old men had been bickering all along the way. "You have money?" Elder Chiu asked in surprise. "Where did you get the money?" Lung Qingtian asked. He knew that his granddaughter had a lot of good things, but she didn't seem to have much money. "I sold some spirit crystals before we set off," Lung Ruoxue explained. Before they started this journey, she had specially asked Feng Da to sell a portion of the spirit crystals they had obtained in the illusionary forest for emergencies. "Did you sell that earth python?" Lung Qingtian asked anxiously. That couldn't be sold because it couldn't even be bought with money. No. That's good. Ruashue, are you sure we can eat here for a month without any problems? Elder Chio asked uncertainly. They would have to stay in Lunar Capital for at least a month if they entered the top 3. Elder Chio, a month is nothing. We can even stay for a year, Fonda interrupted after arranging the rooms. Then I can rest assured, Elder Chio said. I didn't expect Ruashue to be a wealthy lady. Don't worry. Let's hurry to our rooms to freshen up and then try the dishes of this elegant lagoon pavilion later, Lung Ruashue suggested. Okay. Everyone was very interested in this idea. After going to her room, Lung Ruashue directly entered the Heaven and Earth bracelet, took a beautiful hot spring bath, and played with the little fellows before leaving. Ruashue, you came out just in time. I was just about to call you for dinner, Elder Chio said eagerly when she saw Lung Ruashue come out of her room. Then let's go. Elder Chio, do you want to eat? The innkeeper asked when he saw Elder Chio and the others coming down the stairs. Arrange 3 private rooms for us, Elder Chio said generously. Having money emboldened him. Yes, please wait a moment. The innkeeper quickly went to arrange it. Lung Ruashue and the others entered the private rooms. They had just ordered and were about to eat when the door suddenly opened, and a man and a woman walked in. Who allowed you to come in? Lung Ruashue questioned coldly. She hated being disturbed while eating. Moreover, they pushed the door open and entered without even knocking. Swear, he is Huaqing, Lung Ruhan said softly. They presumably came for him. I'm sorry to bother you, Huaqing said politely. Why did you come in if you knew you were interrupting? Lung Ruashue said without giving him any face. She didn't care who he was. It was wrong to disturb her eating. Huaqing smiled bitterly. No one had ever been so rude to him in his life. How can you be so ungrateful? Big Brother Qing came to see an old friend out of goodwill. How can you have this attitude? Huaqing didn't say anything. Instead, it was the beautiful girl beside him who rebuked her with discontent, with jealousy in her eyes flashing for a moment. What a joke. Did I invite him? Lung Ruashue sneered. She raised her eyes slightly and examined the man and woman in front of her. Huaqing had a handsome appearance, a masculine build, and was an intermediate spiritual sovereign. Although his appearance wasn't as good as her elder brothers and the others, he was the type of man that women liked the most. As for this woman, she had an incomparably pure face and looked very innocent. But Lung Ruashue knew that this woman was a classic example of a two-faced person. Her appearance could make all men want to protect and cherish her, and she was usually the most difficult kind of woman to deal with. Moreover, this woman was the most beautiful woman she had seen to date. Chapter 91. You've already got me one. You? Senior brother Lung. This senior sister from your academy is really rude. We came to see you out of goodwill, but what's with her attitude? The beautiful Shui Xinren's eyes flashed. She turned her gaze and complained aggrievedly, with tears vaguely welling up in her eyes. She is my younger sister, Lung Ruhan said coldly. He was not Huaqing and would not fall for Shui Xinren's tricks. So she's that simpleton. Shui Xinren pretended to be surprised. Xinren. Huaqing glared at her. I'm sorry, senior brother Long. I didn't do it on purpose, Shui Xinren said with a guilty expression. Can you go out now? We're having a meal. Lung Ruashue coldly chased them away. Sorry for disturbing you, Huaqing said helplessly as he left with Shui Xinren. Hee, swear. Huaqing has probably never been treated this way before. Lung Ruhan chuckled. Swear, that was the genius young master of the Hua family. Probably no woman has treated him like this before. Feng Moran also teased. So what if he's the young master of the Hua family? This young lady doesn't allow anyone to disturb me when I'm eating, not even the patriarch of the Hua family, Lung Ruashue said nonchalantly. Ruashue, how domineering. But this is the Hua family's territory after all, so we have to give the master some face. Elder Chio tried to mediate. As the host, he should know better than to interrupt the guests' meals casually, right? Lung Ruashue said. Even though she hated uninvited guests, she usually wouldn't be as rude as she was just now. She mainly hated them for barging in, without even knocking on the door. At this moment, there was a knock on the door, and the innkeeper entered, followed by 2 young servants, each carrying a plate of food. "Esteemed guests, this is an apology from our young master," the shopkeeper said with a smile. "There's no need for this. Innkeeper, remember that no one is allowed to disturb us during meals from now on," Long Ruashua warned. "Yes, I understand." The innkeeper wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. "Heavens, why is this young lady so imposing?" "Innkeeper, we don't need much here. You don't have to wait on us," Long Qingtian said. "How could they enjoy themselves with outsiders standing by the side?" "All right, please enjoy yourselves." The innkeeper left tactfully. After dinner, Elder Chio said he was going to look for Tsong Min while the others returned to their rooms to rest. But Yichen followed Shuer to her room. "Aren't you tired?" Long Ruashua looked curiously at the freak who followed her. She hadn't slept well recently, so she just wanted to have a good night's sleep. "I want to chat with you." Yichen's dazzling black eyes were watery, trying to look as pitiful as possible. "Okay, let's chat then." "He looks too pitiful." "Shuer, Hua Qing ranks second on the most beautiful men rankings. He's the dream lover of all women," Yichen suddenly said after they chatted for a while. "So what? Do I have to like him like other women?" Long Ruashue asked. A man like Hua Qing would definitely prioritize his family's interests. This kind of man was not her type. If someone wanted to be her man, he had to put her first. "You're not allowed to like him. You've already got me," Yichen said seriously. "If you want to become my man, it will depend on your performance," Long Ruashua said. She could ignore a man's identity and status, but it was not so easy to be her man. "I will let you know that only I am most suitable for you," Yichen said solemnly. Even though he had always considered himself Shuer's fiancé and liked to call her his wife when there were many people around, he had never said these words in such a serious manner. "All right, they'll wait and see." As soon as she saw Yichen off, Elder Chio came. "Ruashua, we can't find Tsong Min," Elder Chio, who had gone out to look for Tsong Min, said directly as soon as he entered Ruaksha's room. The competition would begin the day after tomorrow, but Tsong Min's whereabouts were unknown, which couldn't help making him a little worried. "Elder Chio, calm down. The competition will begin 2 days later. There's still time," Long Ruashua consoled. "Okay, they'll look for her tomorrow," Elder Chio said. Tsong Min was going to participate in the artificer competition, so they really couldn't do without her. After seeing Elder Chio off, Long Ruashua washed up and then went to bed. The streets of Lunar Capital were bustling with people. "Grandpa, where are we going?" Her grandfather dragged her, her brother, and Yichen out early in the morning. "Let's go to the bazaar. I heard from the innkeeper that there's a bazaar today," Long Qingtian said. "Why is Grandpa interested in the bazaar? No wonder there are so many people on the streets today." "I heard that there will be many specialties from the Southern Dusk Empire," Long Qingtian said yearningly. When they arrived at the bazaar, Long Ruashua found that there were a lot of snacks being sold. "So Grandpa is here for these snacks." With this thought, she couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. "Shuer, try this. It's sour and sweet and very delicious. It's a specialty of Southern Dusk." Long Qingtian handed Long Ruashua a red fruit pierced on a thin wooden stick. "Isn't this candied hawthorn?" She didn't expect this thing to appear in the Southern Dusk Empire. Long Ruashua took a bite. "It tastes pretty good." The 4 of them shopped and ate for most of the day before returning to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion with some lingering feelings. "What's the matter?" After they returned, Long Ruashua and the others went directly to the conference room prepared for them in the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. As they entered, they felt that the atmosphere was a little off as soon. "Miss, Tsong Min has been found," Fengda said softly. "Found?" Long Ruashua looked at Fengda doubtfully. "Why is Elder Chio's face so ugly then?" "Tsong Min refuses to come back to participate in the competition unless Elder Chio fulfills her condition," Fengda explained. He knew very well what had happened because he found Tsong Min together with Elder Chio. "What condition?" "She requested Miss to withdraw from the competition, or else she would refuse to participate," Fengda said. "Humph. That woman is really overestimating herself. How dare she use this to threaten us?" Chapter 92. "You've already got me, too, Elder Chio. Tsong Min wants to withdraw from the competition?" Lung Ruoxue walked directly to Elder Chiu after hearing what Fengde said.
Yes.
Let her withdraw then, Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. Ruoxue, if she doesn't participate, we have no one else for the artificer competition, Elder Chiu said gloomily. If Song Min didn't participate in the artificer competition, it would affect their final total score. But he could never agree to her condition. There's no one else? Oh, go then, Lung Ruoxue said. She didn't want to be in the limelight, but there were always people who forced her into it. Can't they let me keep a low profile? You. Elder Chiu's eyes widened as he looked at Lung Ruoxue in disbelief. Does this girl know how to refine artifacts? Can't I? Lung Ruoxue stared at Elder Chiu unblinkingly. Yes. Ruoxue, do you really know how to refine artifacts? Elder Chiu asked worriedly. A little, Lung Ruoxue said. She had only learned a little of her master's art of artificing, but it was enough to deal with such a competition. Lung Ruoxue's words made Lung Qingtian and the others speechless. If you only know a little, then those noble supreme artificers would have no jobs. It's good that you know a little. It's better than having no one participate, Elder Chiu said with relief, the worry from before vanishing. By the way, Ruoxue, I have to go to the Lunar Shadow Academy to draw lots and get our number later. Okay. Elder Chiu, what's the schedule for the competition the day after tomorrow? Lung Ruoxue asked. The first 3 days of the competition is called the Battle Royale, but it has nothing to do with our academy, Elder Chiu explained. What kind of Battle Royale? Lung Ruoxue asked. Swear, let me explain it to you, Lung Ruhan said. There are more than 150 major and minor academies on the Lingfeng continent. Each academy will send 30 spiritualists, which means there are thousands of competitors. Since there are too many people, it's impossible to engage in one-on-one battles, so the first 3 days will use the Battle Royale method to carry out the group stage. In the first Battle Royale, only the top 50 academies can advance to the next round of the competition. And after the 3-day Battle Royale, only 20 academies can remain to participate in the official competition. Therefore, the competition is very intense, Lung Ruhan explained. As the first runner-up last time, our academy doesn't need to participate in the group stage, Lung Ruhan added. Does that mean we have nothing to do for the first 3 days? Lung Ruoxue asked. How can we have nothing to do? We have to go and watch the battles. What if a dark horse appears? Elder Chiu said. You had to know thyself and thy enemy. Swear, the Battle Royale is very intense and interesting, Lung Ruhan said. Then let's check it out tomorrow. Lung Ruoxue said, seeing the interest from the others. Early the next day, they arrived at the competition venue of the Lunar Shadow Academy. Lung Ruoxue was too embarrassed to stay behind to nap after seeing the excited crowd, but she felt a little sleepy sitting in the seats that the Lunar Shadow Academy had arranged for them. Call me when the match begins. Lung Ruoxue closed her eyes after speaking. Okay, Lung Ruhan said lovingly. Swear, the group stage has begun, Yichan said softly. Where's Big Brother? Lung Ruoxue slowly opened her beautiful eyes and looked around, but she didn't see Lung Ruhan. Qing sent someone to invite him away, Yichan explained. What? Lung Ruoxue immediately became awake when she heard this. She was really worried about her big brother being alone with those people. Don't worry. I got Fengde to follow him. No one will dare to let your precious big brother be wronged. Yichan felt a little sour in his heart. When will Shuer care so much about me? Shuer is awake? Lung Ruhan returned just as he spoke. Big brother, are you okay? Lung Ruoxue asked worriedly. I'm fine, Lung Ruhan said with some amusement. Shuer is just too worried about me. The first round of the Battle Royale was divided into 5 groups. Each group had 30 academies, and only the top 10 would advance. That was to say, on the first day, 60 academies would not have the chance to enter the next round of the Battle Royale and would stop here in the academy competition. The time limit for each group round was 3 hours. After 3 hours, the academies would be scored and ranked according to the number of people on the field. There are many nobles from the Southern Dusk Empire here today, and the imperial family has sent their representatives, Lung Qingtian said as he casually glanced at the people sitting in the VIP seats. It might only be the group stage, but the competition is actually very intense. Moreover, Many of the families here hope to choose some talents from among them for their own use, Elder Chio explained. The group stage of the academy competition was not open to ordinary people. Even big families required an invitation if they wanted to watch them. Otherwise, they would not be able to enter at all. What if there's no one on the stage at the end of the 3 hours? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. That's impossible. Basically, during the first 2.5 hours of the battle royale, everyone will be observing and not attacking. The real competition will only begin in the last half hour, Lung Ruhan explained. Then why are we all sitting here? Why don't we just come for the last half hour? Lung Ruoxue said impatiently while looking at the team standing still on the stage. Are they just going to stare at each other like this? Lass, do you think those people are here to watch the battle? Lung Qingtian shook his head helplessly. Of course, she wouldn't think that they had nothing to do other than watch the battle. But sitting here was really boring. Moreover, Lung Ruoxue found that she seemed to be becoming more and more carefree now. It could be said that this was her nature. Shuer, do you see the man in the crimson outfit? Lung Ruhan pointed at the conspicuous man in crimson on the stage. Yes, is there a problem with him? Shuer, his name is Di Fei. He's the top expert of the Flying Bird Academy. He is very strong, and he came in fourth in the last individual competition, Lung Ruhan explained. Peak spiritual monarch, Lung Ruoxue said while looking at Di Fei carefully. 3 years ago, he was only an elementary spiritual monarch. He is 5th on the genius rankings, Lung Ruhan said. Chapter 93. You've already got me. 3. The man in blue sitting over at the Lunar Shadow Academy is Pang Xian, the top genius of the Lunar Shadow Academy. He was 3rd in the last individual competition, and he is 3rd on the genius rankings. He also has a twin brother named Pang Lin, who ranks 9th on the genius rankings, and he was 8th in the previous individual competition. As for the Rising Dragon Academy, in addition to Hua Qing, Yishao is also very difficult to deal with. He ranks 4th on the genius rankings and obtained 5th in the previous individual competition. Lung Ruhan continued to introduce. They would all be Shuer's biggest opponents. Big brother, only Hua Qing is my match among these people, Lung Ruoxue said confidently. Yes, Hua Qing is now an intermediate spiritual sovereign. Shuer, you have to be careful, Lung Ruhan reminded her. As the young master of the Hua family, Hua Qing definitely had more tricks up his sleeves than everyone had seen. Big brother, don't worry. They'll be careful. After waiting for more than 2 hours, the people on the battlefield finally began to move. Bang, bang, bang. People were constantly being kicked out of the arena. As time passed, the chaotic battle royale on the stage became more and more intense. More and more people were thrown out of the arena, and those who remained were even more careful. With the blow of a whistle, everyone in the arena stopped at the same time. After the referee counted the number of people on stage, he immediately arranged for the second group to go on stage. The first day of the competition was over after 3 groups finished competing. Lung Ruoxue and the others returned to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion and had an early rest after dinner. On the second day of the Battle Royale, there were only 2 groups competing. Just like yesterday, the final half hour was the real battle. After the 5 rounds were over, the 50 academies that advanced to the next round of the Battle Royale were out. The third day of the competition was the last day of the Academy Battle Royale, and also the most important day. After drawing lots, the 50 academies were divided into 2 groups. After the 2 rounds were over, another 30 academies were eliminated. In addition to the champion, second place, and third place of the last academy competition, a total of 23 academies qualified to participate in the following competition. After the Battle Royale ended, there would be a 2-day break before the other competitions. On the 5th floor of the Elegant Lagoon Pavilion, in the guest room of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Elder Chio, tell us the rules of the competition, Lung Ruoxue said. Tomorrow was the true academy competition. Okay, the academy competition will begin with the spiritualist competition. First, it will be the preliminaries for the team competition. The 30 spiritualists of each academy will split up into 5 teams, and then the teams will draw lots and be divided into 5 groups to carry out the preliminaries. There will be 5 stages for the preliminaries at the same time, and the winners will enter the second round of the preliminaries. Tomorrow is the first round, and there will be 3 groups competing. 2 teams from our academy will participate. Lin Yuan and Muli, you two are the leaders. You have to work hard tomorrow. We will go and cheer for you too, Elder Chiu said. Elder Chiu, don't worry. We will definitely advance, Lin Yuan promised confidently. That's good. To be honest, he didn't know much about the true strength of these students. They all like to pretend to be weak to take advantage of others like Ruoxue after all. Elder Chiu, this is only the first preliminary round. What will happen in the later rounds if you're so worried? Long Ruoxue couldn't help asking the nervous Elder Chiu. I'm not worried. I'm just afraid that they will be nervous, Elder Chiu lied. It was their first time participating in such a large-scale competition after all. Who knows who the nervous one is? Long Ruoxue was speechless at Elder Chiu's stubbornness, but she didn't intend to expose him. There are matches tomorrow, so everyone should rest early today. Long Ruoxue returned to her room after speaking. Early the next morning, Long Ruoxue and the others arrived at the competition venue on time. After the host announced the rules and said a bunch of encouragement, the competition officially began. You can stick your number on your clothes now, Elder Chiu reminded them before the Heavenly Phoenix Academy's teams went on stage. Okay, good luck. In contrast to Elder Chiu's nervousness, Long Ruoxue was much more relaxed. She was very confident in the strength of her subordinates. It was just the preliminaries and not a big deal. I'm hungry. Let's go have something to eat. I heard the food in the Lunar Shadow Academy's dining hall is pretty good, Long Ruoxue whispered to Yi-chan, who was sitting beside her. Okay. Yi-chan naturally had no objections to eating. The two of them stood up, left the competition venue as if no one else was here, and headed straight for the dining hall. Since everyone was watching the competition and it was not time to eat yet, there were not many people in the dining hall. After ordering their food, they found a window seat and sat down. Move aside. This is my spot. A female voice suddenly sounded in their ears. The two of them, who were eating, looked up at the woman with displeasure and then lowered their heads again to continue eating. Did you hear me? Go away. This is the spot I like. The woman was a little mad at being ignored. Scram. Yi-chan raised his head in displeasure and spat out a single word to express his thoughts. You. How dare you? Do you know who I am? The woman roared angrily. She originally had a good impression of this incomparably handsome man and even planned to let him be her man. But she didn't expect this man to ignore her existence or to act so ungentlemanly. Humph. Such a crude and uneducated man isn't worthy of me at all. I don't care who you are. Get lost. Don't disturb us while we're eating, Yi-chan said unhappily. Where did this fly come from? How annoying. Jay, just you wait. This princess won't let you off. The woman glared at them fiercely and then left angrily. You guys are in big trouble. That woman is the Northern Frost Empire's most beloved little princess. A boy, who was also eating in the dining hall, came over quietly to inform them, you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.